Hello, folks. Hello, panel. Hello to those who may be in my chat or Foul Plays chat. Either way is fine. Um, as I've been talking about since Thursday of last week, we are sneaking in an extra day of show on the channel here to get right to the second half of Tabitha Barnes' um, trial testimony. Cross is our direct exam is, I want to say straightforward. I don't know if straightforward is really the right word, but it sounds almost normal. But then during cross, it's going to get wild, and I'm really anxious for everybody to hear that. And then at the end, I have a clip of some deposition from Tabitha Barnes, deposition video. So we're going to go ahead and start reading, kind of the same people as before. Cherie will read the parts for the court, the judge. Susan will read the part of Tabitha Barnes. Jack will read the parts for Scott Adams. And Kay is going to be reading the parts for Galen Giger. And then if any other random part pops up, which I don't expect it to, I'll read that. And I might actually pause and read some call out notes that I have on there. And then I think I also have some parts marked in this part of the testimony that we need to pause so that we can discuss, because there were some places where I thought call out box was just not going to cut it and we needed to have a discussion. So that's kind of how we're going to, that's kind of how the lineup's going to be. And I will go ahead and load the screen share the trial testimony so that you can read along if you'd like to. Okay, so this is going to start with well, we'll just start with the court on line 2, if that's okay. And if you guys are ready, go ahead and start when you would like. And we're starting with the court on line 2. So there you go.
Okay. All right, Ms. Barnes, let me remind you that you're still under oath. If you just have a seat over here in our witness chair, pull the microphone right around in front of you. Mr. Giger, you may resume.
Ms. Barnes, it's been a tough morning for you. Would you agree?
Yes.
Ma'am, when's the last time that you used drugs?
I used drugs about 4 days before we came to Oklahoma City.
Okay. Do you have a drug problem?
I don't consider I have a drug problem. I feel that I'm a groupie.
What do you mean when you say you're a groupie?
It's like if I'm around.
If you're around it, you do it. You do it.
Yeah.
You do it. God dang. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Has that been true of your lifestyle for a while? If you're around it, you kind of do it.
Yes, I mean, like if I'm around somebody, I do it. But as far as going to purchase drugs, I don't. Do I keep talking?
Well, if you're going to tell me more about your drug problem, yeah, tell me about it.
Well, actually, I take pain pills.
And those are prescription, correct?
I have a prescription. I have 17 split discs in my back. I have scoliosis. I also see a mental doctor, which is what I took last night. It's called Seroquel 300. It alters your mind to keep thinking about night, to keep thinking at night. Celexa is a alter mind supplements to keep you from getting angry, which I did not take this morning. Maybe I should have, but I didn't.
Ma'am, and those medications are prescribed by a doctor?
Yes, my doctor's name is Dr. Al Corey. He's my psychic doctor.
And that's if we need to know more about it, we'll ask you about it, okay?
Yes, sir.
But you've been having issues this morning about that stuff. Fair enough.
About what?
About the medications and things like that.
Yes, I did take a Seroquel last night.
What the hell? Didn't she just say she didn't? Maybe she should have. It's been a
Oh, that
tough
was
morning for you. What the?
She took the Seroquel, but she didn't take the Celexa. That's what she.
Oh, I thought she said that. Okay, I misunderstood.
No,
I
it's fine.
misunderstood.
Oh, good.
It's been a tough morning for you.
Yeah, yes. And then my sister came in my room with something that I didn't know that
Okay.
I was aware about.
And I don't want to get into all of that.
Right.
But there's been some problems, right?
Yeah, today was not a good day.
I want to talk to you about where we left off yesterday afternoon, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. To make sure you and I are on the same page,
Yes, sir.
yesterday you told me about an event and we decided because of some records you've seen that happened on February 27th where the officer came over and ended up eventually touching you inappropriately. Do you remember talking about that?
The second time?
The first time
The first time? Okay.
in February. Remember that?
Yes.
You understand what I'm talking about.
Yes.
All right. Ma'am, I neglected to ask you something yesterday. I meant to ask you, and that is the very next day, did something happen at your house that resulted in the police coming out to your house again?
Yes, it did. It was a burglary.
Okay, tell me what happened on that day and why the police came to your house that day, what you remember about it.
Well, me and my children were coming back from Golden Corral, and it was a black African American. Sorry.
Double whammy.
Just so there's no confusion.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, God.
And it was a black African American on the corner facing our home. And he asked us, did we want to buy a microwave and some steaks with a bag and a microwave in his hand. And my children instantly was like, Mom, our door is kicked in. So they pointing at the door. Well, unfortunately, my children ran him down, get their food.
Are you saying that you realize that this gentleman had taken your microwave and your food out of your house?
Yeah, a lot of other items.
That's what you're telling us?
Yes, sir. We helped. We helped.
Did you know this guy?
No.
Whenever you realize that's what's going on and your children made those comments to you, what happened?
Well, he took off running. All the children. My sister's friend, my friend at the time, they all chased him down and pursued him to get our things back. And he hit one of the girls and the fight was on.
Fight was on. Police get called?
Police got called. I held him. We all held him there till the police got there.
There was a group of you, correct?
Who was at the house?
Yeah. Well, I'm not asking for all their names, but there was a group of you there, correct?
Females.
One of those people named Raven Summers?
Yes.
Is Raven Summers, who is she to you?
She's my ex-girlfriend.
Okay. Whenever the police were finally called after the fight, do you recall about how many officers came?
About 10.
There was a bunch. Was the defendant one of them, if you know?
Yes.
Okay. Ma'am, when all those police, and did they take reports about the burglary and the fight and talk to people about what happened?
Yes, they did. Also, a woman police officer was talking to me. I pulled her in my kitchen. I said, "Ma'am, I have warrants and..."
You told her about those. You told her about those as well?
Yes, I did.
But
She said, "Ma'am, we're focusing on the burglary right now."
so, all right. Whenever those other officers were there, including that female you talked to, and you realized that the defendant was there as well, why didn't you tell them about what had happened to you the night before with the defendant?
Well, first of all, he was trying to you know, get our food back and all of that. When Spike walked in my house, he eye contacted me. I hurry
Oh,
up and turn my head. So that's when pulled a lady officer to the side, like, I got a few tickets. She was like, "Don't, baby." She was like, "Don't worry about that."
And I understand that's what you did. You got her attention whenever you realized the defendant was there.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Nice. She did not say that. My God.
Brother.
oh my
Words
God.
in her mouth, Gigger.
He testifies for her through this whole thing. It's insane.
Oh my God. That is not even what she said.
I know.
Okay, but specifically, tell me why you didn't then go ahead and say, and I need to tell you that that officer right there touched me inappropriately last night. How come you didn't do that?
I was scared.
What were you scared of?
Who? Okay. What was I scared of? I'm not going to say. I was more just like terrified, just terrified. Who going to believe me? Believe a black African American don't have anything, staying where I'm staying at, staying where I'm staying at. Oh, your officer touched me. Yeah. And another thing, I wanted it to put it behind me, block it out. It's a lot that's always staying and normally not have not brought up. What the
Ma'am,
hell?
that house that you were living at on the corner of 15th and Jordan, is that, in your opinion, is that part of town where there's a lot of drugs and lots of people doing bad stuff?
Yes, it is. Prostitution, drugs, and whatever else. Breaking and enterings and homes.
That happened right outside your house,
Yes, it happened in my home.
in your house.
Not only that, the guy that...
Just stay with me. Just answer my questions, okay? The people that you know in the neighborhood, okay? The people who would sometimes come to your house, for example, maybe not specifically Miss Summers, but people you know, okay?
Yes,
I know you were in a relationship with Miss Summers, but just people you know. Do a lot of people around there have issues with drugs and prostitution and those types of things
that was in my home?
that were around your in that area?
No.
Around your home in that area, the people you know, do they have those types of problems?
The people that came to my home, no affiliated with drugs. Now I would help, like you know, I have a good heart. I will feed them. I will let them clean up the backyard.
Do you know somebody named Flo?
I have to see a picture.
Okay. But there's people you know that struggle with those things.
Or drug.
And your testimony is you would try to help them when you could.
Yeah, they would knock on I mean, they see me outside with the kids. It's like, can I pick up your yard for a sandwich?
Miss Barnes, you as a groupie, your word, if people though would show up with drugs, would you sometimes do drugs too?
I mean, it all depends what type of drug it was.
But sometimes that would happen.
Yes.
Approach, Your Honor.
Yes.
Ma'am, I'm going to show you two pictures. These are different than the ones I showed you yesterday, okay? Do you recognize what's in those pictures? Is that your house?
Yes.
Well, where you live back at this time, okay? And I want you to look at that. Do you see that picture of the door? See, there's somebody standing there. That's the door jamb. Do you recognize what that is?
When that man kicked in my door,
Yes, ma'am. Is that what it looked like the night the man kicked in your door and took your microwave?
yes, my landlord fixed it the next day.
All right, I'll offer states 401 and 402.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, State's Exhibit number 401. And 402 will be admitted.
This is number 402, and it's nighttime there when the police came out on the burglary on the microwave. Was it dark?
Uh-huh.
All right, and that's the front door of your house, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, 402 shows a picture of, is that the door jamb or the wood where the door locks?
Where the man kicked it out?
Yeah. Does it show what's broken?
Yes. On the right-hand side, the panel.
That's this part right here. Is that the part that you remember that you think's broken?
Okay. And when the door's shut, it's your panel on the right.
Over here?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask the question this way. Whenever you realized that that man had been in your house and had taken your microwave, stay with me. Did you get a chance to look at your door and determine that you've said he kicked it in. Could you tell it had been damaged? That's my question.
Yes.
Okay, and that's the way it looked that night that the police came out and took pictures of your house as a victim of a burglary. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ma'am, yesterday I showed you some pictures that were taken after you talked to Detective Gregory about the defendant. Do you remember those pictures? And I'll show them to you again. Do you remember seeing these yesterday?
Yes.
All right. A few moments ago, you said that your landlord repaired the damage that's shown in State Exhibit 402. Do you remember telling me that just a second ago?
Yes.
When did he fix the door?
After the burglary?
Yes, ma'am.
Like 2 days later.
Okay, when I put States 159 on the stand, is that what it looked like after your landlord repaired it?
Yes.
Okay. Now I want to go to the second thing that we talked about yesterday. Do you remember the day that you came home when you told us yesterday about the man in your yard?
Yes.
And what had happened? Do you remember that?
Motherfucker.
Okay, and I believe you told me yesterday that the defendant had told you he had been in your house that day.
Yes.
Do you remember that? Okay, I think I asked you, but I want to be clear. Yesterday, when we were talking about that event, whenever he told you he'd been in your house, you were not home, but you came home and he was already there. Is that right?
Yes.
Judge, I would just object.
I'll rephrase.
All right, sustained.
When you left that day, do you know if the door was open or closed?
My home door?
Yes, ma'am.
My door is always shut.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I am.
Whenever the officer told you about being in your house, I know we talked about it yesterday, but can you tell me what you said to him just about that, about him being in your house?
I asked him why was he in my home, and he said looking around. I'm like, okay, but at the time I did not know that Terry Williams was in that house until later after I came in, and he told me what he had done to him.
Okay, so you had a conversation with Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Was that after the defendant had left?
After I got out the police car.
Okay. And you told me what had happened in the police car yesterday, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am. After that day, after the police officer left, after talking about being in your house, did you see this officer again?
The third time?
Yes, ma'am. Third time.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Do you remember when that was in relation to the second time?
It was 3 times.
I'm going to pause for just. I'm going to pause for just a second. Oh God.
Well, that sums it up.
Yeah, jeez.
I'm a
I'll
little
give.
bit confused.
Okay, go ahead.
After she had her drug tests, they
Yeah.
decided to go ahead, right?
Yep.
Right.
But it was the next day.
No, it was that same day.
Okay, so she testified the day prior to this as well.
Yes.
She must have. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, because he keeps talking about yesterday.
She
Yeah.
testified and then she shows
Well,
up late the second day and was supposed to resume her testimony, and they drug tested her and put on the other people
Okay, that's right. All
while
right.
they were getting her drug test back and while supposedly she was coming off the PCP a little bit.
I'm just
Yeah.
letting all of you know. I'm giving all of you the stink eye. Just letting you know. Eye contact.
Eye contact.
Eyed me. He
You eye
eyed me.
contact me.
Yep.
Eye contact me.
So all of you are getting the stink eye from Jack.
Hey, I'm
Just
eye
letting you know.
contact you back.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
Yeah, you are for real.
Hell yeah.
See that? With my
I
horn.
did. I did.
She's eye contacting you and gonna put her horn in your eye.
I see that.
Oh Jesus. Okay, so what I wanted to, and I meant to make this a part of this. Maybe I can pull it out. Oh God, never mind. Go, Jack. Just say it.
That's what she said.
Oh my God.
I knew it was gonna. I mean, I just have to invite him because it's gonna happen. Anyway.
Well, I was resisting, sis. I was resisting,
I
but you
want
threw it out
to
there.
bring the AVL that this is talking about, but because I mapped this little bitch out like every little single point. I there is no time at all on this third time that Daniel is below. I think his lowest speed while patrolling the area that night that she's talking about, the slowest speed I think was 2 or 3 knots. The point is, he was patrolling and he was watching her house. There's no doubt about that. But he never stopped at all. There was no zero speeds reported on his AVL for this date. The reason that's important is because, well, for 2 reasons. Number one, at the time he's shown on AVL to be there, it's at like after 7 p.m. She's maintained all the time that this third visit was at 4:30, because if you remember, she had gone back. She said that she knew he had just came on duty because she could smell his cologne, and his hair was all done nice. And she says it was at 4:30. Daniel was never there. The AVL does not show Daniel in that area until after 7 p.m. that night at 0 speed. So he never stopped his vehicle, got out of the car, and walked up to her door and had a conversation with her and her mom.
Well,
Didn't
maybe
happen.
he just eye contact her.
He might have eye contact her while he was strolling, 3 knots per hour down the street. But
It was probably
not.
one of those 4.5-minute jobbies like
Yeah.
yeah. So
I'm just saying he did not. I'll see if I can. I'll find that AVL picture that I did, and I'll show it to you at some point. But this is such a blatant lie here, and Giger knows it because he's not going to talk about the time or anything that this. I don't remember that he talks about the time, but this is a blatant lie. And
Daniel starts work at 4 o'clock, right?
Correct.
Yes.
His shift. Okay.
Yes. And not only is it a blatant lie, but it's completely different from the time she says that he did that. Also, on that third stop, she claimed that he was in a black and white patrol car, which Daniel never drove. So there's so many things wrong with this particular page, these lines, and it doesn't get addressed anywhere.
Wow.
So I just wanted to, I feel like that's a pretty big deal. So, okay, so go ahead with line 25. Okay, sorry.
Yes, ma'am. So you've told me about the first two. After the second one, do you know how long it was until you saw the officer the third time?
I can't recall that, but I know he showed up.
Okay, tell me about that event.
Well, I was at home. I was cooking for my youngins, and he came and he said, one of my informants told me you sold crack cocaine today. And I said, you were just in my house last night. Did you see anything considering drugs, marijuana, cocaine, anything?
Okay, now, Miss Barnes, let me interrupt you for just a second.
I bet.
As you're telling me about it, you just said something that I want to ask you about. Whenever he said this to you, you said you were just in my house last night. I'm sorry. You said you were just in my house last night, is what you told the police officer.
Oh, I fucked up.
So, did this happen the very next day?
Yes,
Okay. He came back.
he came back.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Jesus. You remember that now?
Yeah, how come I know that for a fact is because he had already told me that he had been in my house. And then it was the next day.
All right. And I'm sorry I interrupted you, but you said you were already in my house the next day. What happened after that?
I said, you were already in my house. Do you see any? He said, when he knocked on the door, he said, you sold a $20 rock today. And I said, I don't sell drugs. I said, if I sell drugs, do you be think if I sold drugs, why would I be waiting on DHS to pay my gas bill? And he said, you gonna let me in? I said, nope, I am not. And so I called my mother.
Where is he when he's having this conversation with you?
Standing on my porch
Okay, so,
with my door open.
and Miss Barnes, it may be obvious, but just so everybody's on the same page, I'm going to put State's Exhibit number 155 back on the screen. That's the porch we're talking about.
Yes,
Okay, is your door. And so he's on the porch, and where are you?
inside.
Is the door open?
Yeah, a little bit.
There's a storm door. You see that metal door that's open in that picture?
There's a slide door. That wasn't nothing. I'm talking about the white door I opened.
Yes, ma'am. But, and I want, this door was open?
Uh-huh.
Was this door closed or was this door open whenever he was talking to you on the porch?
It was open.
So I guess they're referring to the wooden door
Storm
being
door.
open and the storm door being closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was like this, but the door was open too?
Yes.
Okay. But he hadn't come inside your house. He was on the porch
He was standing right there.
right here,
Up a little closer.
right here.
Yep.
Okay. So you called your mom. Why did you call your mom?
Because I was scared.
Okay. And whenever you were on the phone, well, let me ask you this. Did your mother answer?
Yes, she did.
Okay. What happened?
I stated to her, I said, Mama, he's back again.
Had you talked to your mom before about this officer?
Yes, I have.
What had you told her before about him?
I told her every incident that had took place.
You told her about him touching you and looking at your body?
Yes.
Okay. So, did she know what you were talking about then when you said he's back again?
Yes, she did.
Well, what happened next?
I said, my mom would like to talk to you. And he was like, give me the phone. And I can't say what he said to, I can't.
You don't remember them talking on the phone?
Yeah, cell phones echo. So I wasn't all up on them, but I heard.
Tell me what he said.
He told her she had tickets. Come down here and get her then.
Come down here and get her?
My mother was in Texas.
Yes, ma'am. And I want to make sure I'm understanding what you're telling me. The police officer told your mom, come on down and get her. Those are the words he used?
Yes, he did.
Approach, Your Honor.
Yes.
Ma'am, I'm going to show you exhibit number 179. Do you remember me showing you this before?
Yes.
Okay. Are these your phone records, at least from the phone you had on that day?
Yes.
Parts of them, correct?
Yes.
This phone number, 405-859-9070, is that your number?
Yes.
Okay. And do you see your mother's telephone number on here showing the time that you called her?
Yes.
817-419-2469. Do you know if that was your mother's phone number back then?
Yes, it is.
You remember that?
Uh-huh.
Offer states 179, Your Honor.
No objection.
All right. States Exhibit 179 will be admitted.
Ma'am, I'm going to put this on here and it's going to be kind of hard to see for a minute. I want to look specifically at, make sure I get the right one. Can you see where I kind of have it lined out? Okay, that first column, that 405-859-9070, that's your telephone, is that right?
Yes.
And then it shows your mother's telephone is the number that you called, that 817-419-2469.
Yes.
That next column says outbound. Do you remember calling her?
I called her because
All right.
she can't call out.
All right. And then I'm going to move it over. All right. So outbound. Then the date is 3/26 of 14. Is that consistent with your memory? Well, let me ask it this way. if the reports and some documents show that he was there on the 25th when he looked at you, the next day would have been the 26th. Is that right?
Right.
Okay. Do you know what that means? Do you know what the 1911 means?
No.
Okay. Do you remember if you called your mother in the evening or the afternoon or the nighttime?
It was still light time.
Still light?
Yeah, it was still light time. But when it started,
Starting to get dark.
yes, time hadn't changed or nothing like that. It was just regular.
If I told you that's military time, ma'am, and 1911 really means 7:11 p.m. in the evening, does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you look at it, the next column shows 1929 and that is 7:29. So it acts like you're making the telephone call from 7:11 to 7:29. Does that seem about right in your memory?
Soon as I seen him walking up, I called my mother.
All right,
I
all
have,
right.
I have a
That's not
question.
what. That's not what she said before.
No.
Anyway, go ahead.
No, it's not at all what she said before. That's what I mean. If those of you who've been following along for the last several weeks, you can recognize these inconsistencies slash lies on your own. Um, I probably wouldn't even have to, make mention of it in the line in transcript itself, but I get kind of like anxious, and I got to let some of that anxiety out, so I just put it in a call box. But anyway, um, I maybe I'm making something out of this that isn't anything, but where he says on line 16, so that is 7:29. So this acts like you're making a telephone. What does that mean? This acts like you're making a telephone call.
He's just a fucking idiot, that's all.
Just because he's stupid? Okay.
I mean, it's just the words that fall out of his mouth.
Double
can-
dumbass, Kay.
He's a double
dumbass.
dummy for sure.
Double dummy, yep.
Yeah.
Rhonda, I thought you said that it was at 4:30.
No, she said that. She said that in the police report, in the preliminary trial.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
They
there's
changed-
no phone records of her calling her mom at 4:30. So he's
No.
redirecting her to
They
make
changed
it
it.
fit his story where
Wow. Jesus.
And the AVL for Daniel doesn't show that she was there. He was there at 4:30. It shows that he was there after 7 sometime.
Okay.
So it's very possible that after 7, she saw him patrol, drive by slowly, and called her
Yeah.
mom. That's what I'm sure
Right.
happened. Yeah, but
Right.
that's it. So
But she misremembered before, so
she misremembered, yes.
Giger didn't ask her if Daniel came in to talk on the phone or if she handed her phone out onto the front porch.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very, very vague with his questioning, and you can tell he wants to keep her from going someplace that will screw her over because he stops, he cuts her off
Yeah.
or he stops her. So,
Okay.
he's pretty obvious. Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask if that whole word acts, not acts as in I asked you to do, but acts. Because I thought it was just a weird thing for him to say. It acts like you're making this, whatever. What that mean?
Yeah,
that's
it's
weird.
weird.
Double
He's
dummy.
yeah, at least. I think we're being too nice calling him a double dummy.
Hey,
I
listen.
was going for the softer approach, Kay, but we can go. We can go fucking medieval if you want.
You can go medieval. Listen, we know that there is no filters expected on this channel, so say what you got to say. I'm fine with it.
What line are we on?
20. 20.
All right. And then the duration, the next column, if you look at the very top, just so we understand, the duration is in seconds. it says SEC. I'll I'll let it say what it says. I'll let it say what it says.
I won't try to change what the records say. Such an idiot.
And then it has some numbers showing the length of the telephone conversation. Okay, are you with me?
Yes.
All right. So, ma'am, after the police officer has the conversation or whatever is said between him and your mother, what happens after that?
What do you mean?
Well, okay, you told me a moment ago there's some exchange, and he says to your mom, come on and get her, something like that. Is that correct?
Oh, he handed me back the phone.
Well, what happened next?
He said, "You're not going to let me in?" I said, "No." He said, my source, his snitch, tell him that I sold a $20 rock. I said, "Well, go get them and bring them to my home." And I don't know. I'm not for sure if I might have said it again. If I was selling rock cocaine, I wouldn't be waiting on my DHS to pay my phone bill.
Pay my phone bill? Oh my God.
A lot is
Now
a
I
gas
want a
bill.
phone bill. I
It
didn't,
was the gas bill, yeah.
and rent before that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, more of the same type of conversation about him making accusations that you've been selling drugs?
Yes. And I told him to go get his informant or whoever was telling him and come back with more than one police officer. And
At some point, ma'am, did he leave?
yeah, he mumbled off some stuff. He was like, "I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back."
He said, I'll be back.
Uh-huh.
But on that day, he stood on your porch. You told me about those conversations, and then he left after you said what you said to him.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So is it accurate then that you didn't expose yourself and he didn't touch you on that day?
No, he did not.
Ma'am, after that day, were there occasions where you would see the defendant again?
Well, the day after that, my sister came and picked up me and my children. I boarded my I boarded the house up like I had moved. Went to Austin, Texas for 3 months thinking that, maybe they'd catch him. It was all over.
So you left the house?
Yes, I did.
Why?
The fear of me and my children.
Oh my
Are
God.
you telling the jury and are you telling me that you left because of what this officer kept doing?
Yeah, because I have a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old child. What if I wasn't home one day and he did that to them?
Ma'am, was it a hardship on you to pick up and leave?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. There was a lot of hardship. I had to transfer my children out of school and hide from this man.
That's what you felt like you had to do?
Oh
Yes,
my
me
God.
and my children knew him as Spike. When I,
Okay. I
when,
wanted to pause here. You guys don't have the same copy that I have. I didn't mark yours all up, but I put in here that I wanted to pause and discuss this. She says, "Yes, me and my children knew him as Spike. We've been drilling into this case, this accuser, for the last several weeks. That Tabitha Barnes and her children, that we can see anywhere else, ever refer to Daniel as Spike. That was
until
only
trial,
seen, yeah, until trial. That was only seen in the police report that Gregory wrote. He would refer to him. He would be writing, instead of saying Officer Holtzclaw, where he should have been professionally, he was saying Spike, 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 Spike. And I don't remember how many. I didn't count them. I know Kay said Brian Bates did, and it was like over 15 times
Yeah.
that he referred to Officer Holtzclaw as Spike. So they prepped her really well that whenever she was going to refer to him in trial, she needed to say this kind of that thing, because it's not anywhere else that she and her kids ever referred to him as Spike.
No, it truly is Rocky's creation, based on their descriptions, on Ariana and Tabitha's description of spiky hair.
Right.
Man, he's just shady AF, Gregory.
And well, and he's going to be testifying. I think he has like 152 pages of testimony and we'll read that one Thursday probably. You guys are in for a real treat. You think Tabitha's bad? Wait till you hear us trying to read Rocky Gregory's, because it's impossible. He's an idiot. He's beyond idiot when it comes to, like, if you're comparing him and Giger.
Triple
Rocky,
dum-dum.
Triple, quadruple, decimals.
He truly is illiterate.
He's illiterate, yeah. Then you'll see that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to also point out, so I'm just gonna read this part, Susan. I'm really sorry, but I'm
That's
gonna
okay.
read this part so I can point out some things. So yes, me and my children knew him as Spike. When they seen him, they knew what to do. Even my 8-year-old Ron locked the door. Now I don't know if that's a typo on the court reporter's part or what, but there is, like, where the hell did Ron come from? Who is he?
What's her 8-year-old's name?
Her son's name is Marcus.
Marcus.
Oh,
So
jeez. Well, she is
maybe-
high on PCP. Okay.
True. And maybe what she meant to say was, even my 8-year-old son locked the door, but the court reporter heard Ron.
Yeah, that could be.
It could be a few things, but. And then she goes on to say, and when he would knock on the door, we played like we wasn't there. And he would always come over to my home right when I got off of work, right when he got off of work with that stinky cologne. Where, you guys that have been here for these last 4 episodes, have you ever heard any in the police report or any other
Not
testimony?
once. No.
Not
Nope.
one time.
Nope.
This is like, reading this, I'm like, what? And then she says, when he got off work with that stinky cologne. So those are some things that I wanted to point out. There's a couple of those in here. So I'm sorry. Go ahead and continue. Well, if you want, you can read those, Susan, if you want to do it.
No. Oh, heck no.
Voice. Okay. All right. We can start on line 11 then.
Hang on just a second. Making a note. Okay, line which?
11.
And ma'am, I want to understand the things when you talk about he'd come over to your house a lot and your children react this way. Those had happened before the day of your telephone call with your mother, or after the day with the telephone call with your mother, or both before and after?
Can you rephrase that, please?
Yes, ma'am. Let me ask it this way, and I'm sorry for not being clear. Is it your memory that the day after your telephone call with your mother is when you left that house?
That next day.
And you remember that. So these events of him coming over and your kids not answering the door or closing the door, those types of things, that happened before the day with the telephone?
Oh, hell yeah. Yes.
Again, this is all leading, and I would object.
No doubt.
It's about downtown.
Overruled.
Nope.
Nope.
It's a
Line
stain.
5.
Oh,
Line 5.
all
Bad
right,
guess.
Jane. I'm
Sorry.
ready to judge again.
May I have just a minute, Judge? Ma'am, whenever you called your mother, and I apologize if I asked, but I don't remember if I did. Why did you call your mom?
Oh my God.
My mother is like my best friend. My mother, I don't have friends like that. And ever since I was a child, that's who I would run to.
Were you upset that he was coming to see you again?
When he was at my door?
Judge, again, I'll object as relevant.
Overruled. I'm
Sheree?
going to ask you to rephrase your question.
How did it affect you? Oh, wait. By Miss McConnell.
No, that's
Yeah.
a typo.
Okay. I was wondering,
I
like,
was going to
when the hell
say,
did she
how's
get?
that happen, man?
Yeah,
I meant
when the hell did
Rabbit
she come in?
Trapper.
How did it affect you when you saw that officer again that day?
At my doorstep?
At your door, the day he was just on your porch and he didn't come in. How did it affect you to see him there again?
I started crying
Why?
because he was not coming in my home. And he kept persisting to come in. And I mean, he got attitude.
Oh, God. How did it make you feel?
Judge, relevance.
Overruled.
I was frightened. And I left Oklahoma City, Oklahoma the very next day. Boarded up my house to make him think I had moved.
Did Mr. Williams move with you or did he stay?
No, he didn't. He relocated.
He didn't go with you guys to Texas?
No, he came and see me on Mother's Day, I think.
I think I'll pass the witness at this point.
All right, cross-examination.
Ms. Barnes, to get a kind of a visual picture so we can understand exactly what you say transpired is, when was the first time you ever talked to a police officer or a detective about Officer Holtzclaw?
I can't recall a date, but I know they approached me at my home.
Would it be a fair statement to say it was sometime in August of 2014?
I cannot confirm a date.
Was it hot outside?
I cannot confirm a date.
Alrighty.
Okay. You would agree with me that you didn't seek out the police or law enforcement, correct?
No, I did not, sir.
They actually made numerous attempts to try to contact you.
Mr. Giger.
Judge, I don't know if she knows, I guess, but calls for speculation, I think.
All right, if you know, ma'am, you can answer.
What was the question, please?
They made numerous attempts to contact you. The police did.
Well, actually, the first time he had contacted me, he met me.
And the detective that met you is this detective sitting here at this table, Detective Gregory, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And he met you there at your house, correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you agreeing the first time?
Yes, sir.
And when did you, and when he did, you went out to his vehicle and you were visiting with him?
Yes, sir.
And in that first interview, you told him you were having some issues and you had to stop the interview because you were falling asleep and stuff, right?
Yes. I had my 2-week-old baby up all night, and I hadn't had sleep. The mother had picked up my grandchild, and I took my bath and took my Ambien from my psych doctor. And by the time I told him, I say, you'll have to come back another day.
Do you recall setting up several meetings with the detective and not being present? Do you recall anything like that?
No, I don't.
Whenever you're talking to Detective Gregory, you understood that Officer Holtzclaw had been charged and there was a lot of things going on with him, correct?
Who? Spike?
I need to pause. Sorry, Jack.
No problem.
So this is incorrect because on August 17th, when Gregory finally came back into contact with her, Daniel had not been charged and arrested yet. He wasn't arrested until August 21st. So I don't know. I'm just kind of annoyed by that defense counsel was unclear about the date.
Well, she's agreeing with him.
Well, That's not saying much.
Hmm.
But yeah, I just, I mean, so I just kind of frustrated me. But on the 17th of August, when Gregory finally caught up with her for that recorded interview, Daniel had not yet been arrested and charged and arrested. So I just wanted to,
Well, a few lines down, she says she knew it after the fact. That she sat down with Gregory.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
okay, I'm so sorry. Carry on.
No, that's fine. I'll start on. So we're in.
Just read 18 over again.
I was
Just
going to say, yeah, okay. Whenever you're talking to Detective Gregory, you understood that Officer Holtzclaw had been charged, and there was a lot of things going on with him. Correct?
Who? Spike?
Yes.
Yes.
You had seen it on the news, right? You had seen it. You had seen it on the news.
No, I did not, because I didn't watch the news at that time.
But you knew about it. But you knew about it all, right?
I knew about it after the fact. I have got in contact with and sat down with Detective Gregory.
What you tell Detective Gregory is that the first time that you ever had contact with Officer Holtzclaw is this incident we're talking about back in late February of 2014, where you said it was cold outside, correct?
Yes, sir.
You actually didn't know the date. It was Detective Gregory that had to provide you with the date with some records that he had, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's
Sorry.
not correct.
No.
She
You
said
and-
it
you
was
guys would-
March 4th at 12:30.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, line 15. And you told him that as the car was warming, that actually 2 squad cars arrived.
Yes, sir.
And again, you would agree with Mr. Giger that, and myself, that this is a high crime neighborhood, yes?
Could you rephrase that, please?
Is it a high crime neighborhood?
Oh, yes, it is, sir.
A lot of bad things happen over there, does it not?
The area that I was in and the corner that I was in, I stayed to myself, me and my children. Several other blocks, yes, sir.
Okay. Your car's running in the street at approximately midnight, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that what a police car looks like.
Yes, sir.
And you understand what the duty these police officers are sworn to do here in Oklahoma City, don't you?
Excuse me?
They are sworn to protect and serve the citizens of the state of Oklahoma and Oklahoma City. You know that, correct?
That's what I thought they were supposed to do.
And police officers are sworn to keep people safe, correct?
Unfortunately, they don't.
That's not my question. Is it your understanding that police officers are sworn to keep the community safe?
No comment.
Is it you don't like the police, do you?
What do you mean I don't like the...
You don't like the police.
What do you mean I don't like the police?
You've never liked the police, have you?
How do you know?
I'm just asking. Do you like the police?
Oh, I love them.
You love them?
You motherfucker.
Do you recall these questions being asked and these answers being given while you were under oath in this matter at the preliminary hearing back November the 17th of 2014? Do you recall testifying under oath in that matter?
Don't remember.
You don't remember anything about being sworn in front of a judge and swearing to God that you were going to...
Oh, that was that day? Yes, I do.
So you do remember that.
Yeah, I remember coming to court.
And you remember Mr. Giger asking you several questions, and I asked you several questions.
You want me to respond to that?
I do.
Yeah, I remember you asking me questions.
Okay. And did you not tell me on that day you did not like the police?
I don't recall that. Can't remember that one.
Judge, I actually have a wrong book. Can I just have 1 second? Do you recall these questions being asked and these answers being given while you're under oath. Page 184, line 15, question by me. And I think you made your feelings pretty evident in that you don't like the police. Your answer: no, not that I don't like them. I just don't deal with them, period. I don't. Do you recall that answer being given?
Objection, Your Honor. It's not proper impeachment.
Okay, come up. Okay, she was asked whether she made those answers, and she said she didn't remember.
And I was refreshing her.
I understood him to say, didn't you tell us at prelim that you did not like the police? That's not what she testified to.
She testified to, I don't remember.
She said, not that I don't like them, I just don't deal with them, period, was her testimony. So I don't believe he's asked the proper predicate question in order to use the transcript to impeach her.
I have to agree.
I'm being very delicate here. First of all, I purposely did not hardly ever object during Mr. Giger's because I was trying to let him get what he needed out of her. I'm trying to treat her with kid gloves at this point. I could literally sit here all day long and go through this line by line, and it would be torture. And I don't intend on doing that. I'm simply trying to make a few points, and I'm doing it with this. But I mean, if I can, I'm just trying to treat this witness with kid gloves, and I guess I'll just take them off because I don't know how. I don't know how to. When she's telling me she's getting to be a smart aleck over here, and she's looking at me and she's challenging me, and I'm trying to be professional as I can be about it, but she's put it in a position that I'm just going to have to.
Well, the objection goes to the foundation of an impeachment from the preliminary hearing.
And Judge, I'm not trying to be difficult with Mr. Adams. I understood he had the wrong book, and so I thought he might have been looking at a different spot in the transcript. It's just that she said she doesn't remember saying, I don't like the police. And I don't think that's what she said. And that's the reason I objected. I'm not taking issue with the way Mr. Adams is cross-examining. I just want to be fair to her, because then I'm going to have to get up and say, that's not exactly what she said. But I'm giving deference to counsel because he didn't have the right book with him whenever he started.
All right, well,
I'm done.
obviously you can ask leading questions. If you believe you can impeach her with a prior inconsistent testimony from a preliminary hearing, then
Okay. And I just want to interject, and I'm almost positive at some point she did say, I don't like the police, but I can't remember where it's at.
It's
Right?
in the it's in preliminary, and I highlighted it in a call box in the last page.
Oh, okay. Like you.
Yeah,
Okay.
so she did say absolutely that she does not like the police, and
I thought so.
yeah, but I think it gets caught up with, in the next page or two. So I didn't get
Okay.
too batshit crazy over it.
I understand. Okay, I'll start on line 8 and we'll move on. Okay.
we'll do it.
Now, after Detective Gregory provided you with a date, you started telling him about the car running out in the street at approximately midnight, correct?
Yes.
And you understand that to a police officer could look a little suspicious in this neighborhood.
Yes.
And so two police cars actually pulled up to your residence, and you described where you say they parked, correct?
Yes.
And you testified that you were not driving. Who was on the passenger? I can't remember if it.
Who was
Slow
on
down.
the pass?
Oh,
Who
wait,
was
wait.
on the passenger?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Who was on the passenger? I can't remember if it was me or my best friend on the driver's side or Angela on the driver's side. I can't pinpoint that at this time.
So, is it possible you were driving?
I wasn't driving because the car wasn't moving.
Were you sitting in the driver's seat, smart ass? were you sitting in the driver's seat, Miss Barnes?
I'm not gonna. I don't remember.
So you just don't remember where you were sitting back in February of 2014 when you were approached the first time by Officer Holtzclaw. That's what you're telling this jury?
At this time, I do not remember. Thank you.
Okay. The truth is you have testified that you don't like the police, correct?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember these questions being asked and these answers being given back in November of 2014 while you were under oath? Page 178, line 17. Question. Why didn't you think about anyone would believe you, ma'am? Your answer. To be honest, I don't like the police and I try to stay away from them as far as I can. Do you recall those questions being asked and those answers being given while you were under oath in a previous proceeding?
Repeat that again.
Yes. Do you recall these questions being asked and these answers being given while you were under oath in November 2014? Question. Line 17. Why didn't you think anybody would believe you, ma'am? Answer. To be honest, I don't like the police and I try to stay away from them as far as I can. Do you recall those questions being asked and those answers being given while you were under oath?
I don't remember.
Now, in regards to what actually occurred on this event, is you're sitting here in the driver's seat and you had a friend with you, correct? An adult friend?
Your Honor, I think she's testified that she doesn't remember if she was in the driver's seat or not.
Okay.
Form of the question.
All right, ma'am. Do you remember?
No, I do not.
Did you have a friend with you?
Yes, I did.
And you were both taken out of the car and told to sit in two different squad cars, correct?
Yes.
Your friend sat in one squad car and you sat in Officer Holtzclaw's squad car, correct?
Yes. I sat in Spike's car.
Okay. Is that what you may refer to him as, Spike?
Yes.
Okay.
Ugh.
Uh-huh. I would have shut that shit down immediately. He should have asked the judge to instruct her to address him as Officer Holtzclaw or the defendant. One of
He's
the two.
going along with her.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah. Oh
Jesus.
God. Okay.
I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all.
I don't either.
Okay. So you sat in Spike's car. You would admit that you had no driver's license, and he knew that, correct?
Oh, yeah.
You also had some warrants out for your arrest, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Well, is that not significant or serious to you?
Yes, very serious when I have my children.
Well, then tell the jury what you've done about it since Spike found out you had all these warrants.
What have I done about it since?
Yes, what have you done about it?
Well, right now, jury, I have not paid anything toward them. We have had it hard since the situation has occurred. We have had to move. We have had to hide our identity. We have had to live with different people since the incident of me going through what I have been through with Spike. I have not. I do hair. I have not. Actually, I live the life in a shell, so I don't. My theory in my mind was that I don't know who's working with them. So when I moved alias.
So you blame Spike for you having to move, correct?
It wasn't no telling what he would have did to me or my children.
You blame Spike for having to move to from Oklahoma City, correct?
No, I didn't move from Oklahoma City at that time.
You testified under direct examination that you moved out of this residence at 15th and Jordan because of the activities of Spike, correct?
No, I shut my house down. I didn't move. The rent was still paid. When the incident happened with Spike, my sister came from Texas to die down the fire to make him think no one lived there anymore. I returned back in Oklahoma City. What the fuck?
Okay, I'm gonna stop right here at line 15. She just testified like 3 times to Giger that she had to move
She
because
went
she was scared of
straight to
spikes.
Texas. She went
Yeah.
straight to Texas. Yep.
Yeah. But in her
Huh?
police report, she said that she moved May 1st for a month to help her mom after this
Yeah.
incident.
Right.
Maybe what she's saying is that she went to Texas, but she actually didn't move. She left all her stuff in that house and was still paying rent,
Yeah, I think she
which,
does say that.
like you said, Rhonda, contradicts what she said previously. But
Yeah.
What the
Kay,
hell
didn't she say she was out of that house for 90 days, 3 months or something? Isn't that right?
she said that when she moved to Texas, when I moved to Texas for those 3 months, I think
Yeah.
that's what saved me with that man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. What was that, Susan?
I don't know what she's talking about. Her sister came from Texas to die down the fire to make them think no one lived there anymore. What the hell's that mean?
I think she's just trying to say that everything was so crazy because he kept coming over and
Yeah.
sexually assaulting her and harassing her and driving by all the time. And so,
Try to calm things
just,
down, calm the
yeah,
water.
to simmer things down, she left and boarded up the windows.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Which,
crazy.
like, who boards up windows when you?
Yeah. It's not her house. Didn't she just pay her rent? And I think the landlord might have something to say. He boarding
Yeah.
up
I
a bunch
think
of damn windows.
I think that would invite homeless people to break into.
Sure it would.
Mhm. And what you guys can't see, I mean, I'm not showing you, but you can see the photos on Holtzclawtrial.com, is that there are pictures of the house boarded up, all the windows boarded up.
Really?
But those pictures were taken. I don't know when they were taken by Detective Gregory, but it was after she had like legitimately moved to Texas and stayed. I'm convinced of it, but I don't know.
I bet if we contacted the landlord, he would say that he did that.
Yes.
Yeah.
The windows probably got broken out after she left.
After she left, yep. But she's been shown pictures probably prior to trial where she's saying, "Yep, I boarded it all up so that he would think nobody lived there, and I kept paying the rent, but I stayed in Texas." Well, okay, that sounds logical. I don't know.
Crazy.
Yeah. She just.
Okay, where we at? Oh, I'm sorry.
I think you said
15.
line 15.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So what you testified to on direct examination wasn't true then? Is that what you're telling this jury?
Rephrase the question.
What you're testified to this jury under oath on direct examination, are you telling the jury was not true?
On which part?
On the part where you said that you had to move from Oklahoma City because of Spiker Officer Holtzclaw.
I said I moved. I shut my home down. I made it like I didn't live there no more. My sister come and got me, went to Texas. I returned back to Oklahoma. When I turned back to Oklahoma, that's when the detectives contact me. I was still living in the home. My name was still on the lease. I just shut it down like no one lived there. Maybe he would stop messing with me.
So you were in hiding.
From him.
Okay. So it had nothing to do with your drug activities, correct?
What drug activities?
You don't know what I'm talking about when I say drug activities?
What drug activities?
Clue of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about being involved in drug activities?
What drug activities? Be Pacific.
My God,
Be
I saw that.
literate.
Yeah, be Pacific. Okay. You want me? Okay, I will be. Now you've testified to this jury as recently as last night that you took some prescription narcotics prescribed by a doctor, right?
Actually, it is a Seroquel. Actually, it ultimates your mind. Actually, it comes from a psychiatrist.
Is that prescribed by a doctor?
Yes.
Okay. You testified to this jury that as recently as last night you ingested some prescription medication by the doctor, correct? That the doctor had given you.
Of course, you have to take it by the doctor because it's prescribed to take it.
And I'm assuming that this same doctor that has prescribed these anti what they are pills for you also prescribed PCP?
Oh, no. The PCP was taken place about 4 weeks ago.
The
Liar.
PCP that the PCP that you tested positive for about 2 hours ago, you're now saying
Your Honor, can we approach?
I also
Can we approach?
I also spoke on it.
All right, hang on just a second. Ma'am, hang on just a second.
Your Honor, my objection is to relevance at this point. Counsel started this exchange by saying, didn't you move back away from your house because of your drug activities at your house? And she said, what drug activities? And now we've gone into her drug tests last night and whether or not she did prescription drugs, which she can't deny, but now we get into drug tests, which I mean, she's admitted she did it. She's admitted she took drugs. She's admitted that she had a problem that she had problems this morning. But he's really not being fair to her whenever he says you moved back, you moved away because of your drug activities. And she challenges on it and then he jumps to this other. So my objection is number one, relevance as to going now into any more detail about her drug use last night. She's answered those questions, and to go any further than that is not proper impeachment, in my opinion.
Respond.
yeah, oh, there's yes, Your Honor. First of all, they're the ones that made a big deal about how her having to move out of Oklahoma City because of Officer Holtzclaw and her being, she's requiring me to call him Spike, by the way, but Officer Holtzclaw's actions. She has, for the first time, said now that Officer Holtzclaw, on this third event, whenever she moves the very next day, she's saying he knocked on the door and started talking about he had a confidential informant that that's talking about her selling $20 rocks. Obviously, I think she was feeling heat from her drug activity, and I asked her about drug activity, and she challenged me. She said, "What are you talking about? Be more specific." So I'm being more specific with her. How is this not impeachment? And is exactly what impeachment is all about is beyond me. But she's the one that challenged me, and she's the one that wanted me to get into it, and I'm getting into it with her. I told the court earlier I didn't want to do this, but she continually challenged me. And I have no alternative at this point because to zealously represent my client and bring out the truth in this matter.
Your Honor, just so the record's clear, in the police reports talking about the third event, she said in the police report, she opened the door. He asked what she was doing. She said she was cooking dinner for her kids. Officer Holtzclaw stated, "Can I come in?" Tabitha told him no. Officer Holtzclaw said, "So you're not going to let me in? I need to search your house for drugs." She said, "No, you've already been in my home to look." He said again, "So you're not going to let me in?" Then he mumbled something. And then what she didn't mention is,
Uh,
and then what she didn't mention is, you haven't paid those fucking tickets. Then he said, "I'll be back." So I don't know. I don't know that I'll admit the $20 rock is not in here, but I don't know that she's being inconsistent and that there was any specific discovery violation.
Well, I'm not concerned about a discovery violation, but is your objection to relevance?
Yes, sir.
All right, overruled.
Miss Barnes, we were talking about your drug activity, and you told us about the prescription we're talking about specifically just last night, correct?
What about last night?
Do you want me to ask you about what happened last night? Are you wanting me to do that in front of this jury?
That's your job.
Do what?
That's your job.
Okay. Well, last night the state of Oklahoma put you up in a hotel room over on Meriden, correct?
Uh-huh.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Before you went over to the hotel, you went over to a relative's house for a barbecue, right? After you got out of court?
No, I didn't.
Relevant, Your Honor.
All right, overruled. Go ahead.
So you deny that you went over to any relative's house and had any barbecue yesterday afternoon, correct?
Actually, we went over to my brother's house. Oh, what am I doing? I'm sorry. What day? I'm delirious.
Actually, we went over to my brother's house and got stove. Little bitty ribs here, purchased from the store. Little bitty potato salad and baked beans for his mother.
After you left there, you went and checked into the hotel over here on Meriden by the airport, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But while you're over there on
I want to pause for just a second.
Okay.
I'm just being bitchy here. But she said actually we went over to my brother's house and got stove, whatever, blah blah blah. She said, and then she said little bitty potato salad and baked beans for his mother. I'm pretty sure they have the same mother. I mean, his mother is her mother. I don't know. Anyway,
Well,
I'm just being smart ass.
well, they could have the same father and not the same mother.
But they do have the same mother, is the
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
That's
Line
easy.
12.
Anyway, yeah.
Okay, but while you're over there on Meriden,
Well, no. No. He was already checked in, sir.
okay, so you had already checked in. Then after you left your brother's house, you went back over to the hotel, right?
Yes, to feed my mother.
To feed your mother?
Yes, sir.
Well, then you traveled all the way back last night over to 27th and Kelly.
To meet my girlfriend.
So you were on Meriden over here by the airport, and you drive all the way back over here to the northeast side to 27th and Kelly. This was just last night.
Uh-huh.
And you go to a convenience store.
Uh-huh. Actually, I wasn't driving. I was riding with someone.
Your sister, right?
Yes.
And then you went into a convenience store and you got some PCP.
Oh my God.
I went in the convenience store and got some PCP. Is that what you just said?
Is that what you did?
Prove it.
Well, I wasn't there. I wasn't there. But if you want me to prove it, and you did consent this morning after all this brouhaha that we're getting into, that you agreed that you're going to take a urinalysis sample, correct?
Yes, I did. I was willing to go take one. But also I informed them I was going to test hot because I know what I did before I came to Oklahoma City.
Okay. Actually, you told us that you were going to test hot for some prescription drugs, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
You didn't tell us that?
Prescription as far as my Celexa, my Celexa, Seroquel, and my hydrocodone.
You told us you were going to test positive for her.
And
Just a minute, Miss Barnes. I'm going to let you finish your answer as soon as I can finish my question. You told us that you were going to test positive for some prescription narcotics, correct?
and I also told them that I had before I came out here I hit one. I hit some PCP and some marijuana. It was on a blunt stick.
Yeah. You told So you understand that
So I let them know ahead of time I was going to test hot.
in the room we were talking was back here behind that door right there, right? You understand that there's a court reporter in there the whole time.
What?
Do you remember that?
What court? Which room?
Do you remember this lady right here who is taking down everything we say back in the room when we were talking about you taking your analysis test this morning?
I wasn't paying attention.
So you don't recall sitting directly across from you.
I don't look at everybody.
Do you recall? Oh, say, do you recall the judge being in there?
Yes.
Okay, and do you recall Mr. Giger and Ms. McConnell being in there? Mr. Giger, Ms. McConnell?
Yes.
Do you recall them?
I was focused on the judge.
Okay, all right. I would be too. Do you recall Mr. Gray being in there?
I was focused on the judge. Thank you.
Okay, so you don't recall Mr. Giger or Ms. McConnell or Mr. Gray. Is that what you're telling us?
Misstates her testimony.
You can answer the question if you recall.
What's the question again, sir?
Okay, is it your testimony that you do not recall this morning Mr. Giger, Ms. McConnell, and Mr. Gray being in that room?
I recall I was paying more attention to the judge than Mr. Giger. I'm not fixing to sit up here and lie for you.
I know you're not. So my question is very simple.
Don't recall.
You don't recall.
I was focused on the judge. Thank
All
you.
right. All right. Do you recall me being in the room?
I wasn't even looking at you. I wouldn't know you from a can of paint.
Okay.
Oh, she's a
Yeah.
bitch.
Okay. My wife says the same thing sometimes. But in any event, we had kind of explained to you that this wasn't really going really well this morning, right? We were having some issues. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And the judge, first of all, before we started all that with the court reporter, I actually got to sit down and visit with you about what had transpired last night, right?
Y'all look alike. I don't know who I was talking to.
That
Oh
fucking,
my God.
I'm so pissed. I don't know.
Ah.
I don't know if you guys can see it, but I put a call out box in there at that part. Y'all look alike. I said, Jesus, I need emojis.
Wow.
That's horrible. What a
Get it?
bitch.
I'm telling you, she's awful. Awful.
Ah.
Okay, line 17. When y'all look alike, when you say, quote unquote, y'all, who are you talking about?
You want me to be honest?
Yeah.
Just like you speak on all African Americans look alike, all Caucasians look alike.
Oh, God.
When did I ever say that?
You just said I was talking to you, so I don't remember talking to you.
So now you just said we all look alike. Am I asking who is we all?
To be honest, to be really honest, sir,
And I would appreciate that.
I don't remember. First of all, if I knew you on a daily basis, I seen you every day, just like I seen Spike on a daily basis. Yeah, I know you. There were so many people talking to me and in the room. No, I don't remember talking to you.
So you don't remember having approximately a 30-minute conversation with me about what transpired at the hotel last night?
I don't know I don't know who you was. I probably wasn't even focusing in on you.
Were you listening to any of the words I was asking you?
No comment.
Do you remember any of the answers you told me?
No comment.
Was your sister in the room too?
No comment.
So fucking
Judge.
pissed right now.
Judge, I would instruct the court to have this witness answer the question.
Ma'am, you need to answer the questions.
On which one?
any question. If you know the answer, you need to answer it. If you don't know, you can tell him you don't know.
I don't. I was upset at the time this morning. Me and my sister had incident. I was in my feelings, so I don't recall.
Okay, you understand that this just took place probably 4 hours ago.
When my mind, I have had, I have been through a lot in my life, and when my mind drifts off, or it's a lot like things that I do not. Thank you.
God, what the fuck, man? God help me.
Wow.
Terrible. Oh my God, it's so awful. Ah, continue.
Yes.
Line 15.
Yeah. Miss Barnes, I'm not trying to make light of this situation. It's very, very serious.
I know it is.
And the allegations you made against Officer Holtzclaw are life challenging. You understand that.
What do you mean by that, sir?
We're not playing games in here.
Oh, no.
Well, then, I want you to really focus and attempt to answer some questions, okay? And be truthful about it. Can we do that?
Oh, yes, sir.
So going back to last night and what all transpired after we talked to you this morning and the judge had an opportunity to talk to you, you agreed to take a urinalysis test, correct?
Yes.
And upon that, you told us you were going to test positive for some prescription narcotics. And also, you were going to test positive for marijuana, correct?
That's not all I said.
Okay. You understand, again, that the court reporter was, you don't remember, did you? You don't remember this court reporter being there. But in any event, if the record reflects that you never said anything about PCP, would you dispute?
Yes, I did.
Just let me finish my question, and I'll let you finish your answer. If the transcript is crystal clear, you never mentioned PCP this morning when we were talking about you taking a UA. You're not going to accuse that lady of lying as she's taking things down, are you?
I admitted when she's, I don't see her right now, but she went with me to take the UA. I said, I'm not gonna lie. Before I came here, I smoked some marijuana in a blunt stick laced with PCP. I did not lie. I said to her, I will test hot because it's not only been like 5 days.
Okay.
So I told the truth.
Whenever we asked you all those questions back in the room, you, regardless of what you did or you didn't say, you agreed to take the UA. You took it and would agree that it came back positive for all the prescription narcotics you talked about, and it also came back positive for PCP, correct?
I let them know that before it even came back.
Are you high right now?
No, I'm not high. I'm just not fixing to sit up here and play your games. Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
I'm not trying to play games.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm really not. And I'm not going to sit here and agree with you.
Argue. Well, do your job.
All right, hang on. Ma'am, let him ask a question and we'll make sure you get to answer. If something needs to be cleared up, the attorney for the state will be able to get back and ask you questions.
Yes, sir.
Let's don't talk at the same time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Last night at the hotel, after you went down to the front desk about 1, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay. And you went down there and you needed some feminine products and
Your Honor, I'm sorry, Mr. Adams.
All right, ask another question.
you ended up having to get another room last night, but no one could find you this morning, correct?
Can I approach?
Come up.
I realize that this witness is being difficult. I understand that. But now to go into, did she get stuff at the store? Did she get an extra room? Did she do those things? Quite frankly, aside from when she may have ingested drugs and when she didn't, those things I don't believe are an issue.
The hell they're not.
We asked the sister, and I know the court wasn't in there when the sister was in there, but the sister essentially confirmed in general the things that happened and the charges to the state and how the miscommunication occurred. I just don't see how it's relevant as a completely collateral issue as to her competency to be testifying right now and her ability to remember what happened with this detective. I mean, with this defendant, in order to now go through the long litany of questions that about what happened at the hotel in regard to t-shirts or food or charges to her sister's credit card. So my objection is to relevance now that we've gone through all the issues related to her drug use.
Judge, and I want the record to be crystal clear on this because I suspect there's something going on here. I was told this morning by Mr. Giger that they were having issues with her, which clearly they were. When I had an opportunity to visit with this witness, and Mr. Giger was present in the room, she talks all about all this bizarre stuff happening, that basically the guy just told her to go have a free run into the convenience store there. What I suspect, and then I was told that Mr. Rowland and an investigator were going to go to the bottom, get to the bottom of what happened. And I've kept asking Mr. Giger, and I've been told that no one has been out there yet, and they don't know exactly what happened. What I'm reading between the lines in this is that she helped herself to a number of items, and somehow, meaning a larceny or some sort of shoplifting, is the way that's what I think probably happened here, and that's all kind of blown up, and now we're trying to keep it quiet. This is certainly relevant to her credibility and to what's going on in this case. But again, I have requested, since all this started, for any information of what happened out there. And I keep being told that people are going, but they don't know yet, and they don't know yet. And now we're at 3:20 in the afternoon on Friday, and I still haven't heard the official version of what the other side said happened out there. It was something more than just simply got a bunch of stuff and then charged it because she was saying that they weren't even scanning the price code, or they weren't, and he was writing down some numbers, but not all. So I took that to believe. I believe that the management at the hotel was alleging until somehow something else happened. But I believe that they're probably alleging that there was a theft occurred out there, and that is something that is extremely important in regards to what's going on here.
Do you want to respond?
I'll respond, Your Honor. First of all, I don't know why. I know nothing about the hotel making a complaint about theft. I've told Mr. Adams what I know as to what has been told to me. I've been in this courtroom and dealing with this witness all day long. I've not gone to the jail or to the hotel. All I was told is an investigator is going to try to figure out what's going on. I have no control over who goes or when they go. But quite frankly, there's no basis to insinuate something's going on here, nefarious between me and the hotel and trying to cover up a reported burglary. I can ask the detective to run Varuna right now. Let's see if a police report's been made by the hotel. But I'm unaware of it.
Well, this is the deal. I'll let you go into that she got another room. She was by herself about where she, that she was missing or whatever that deal was. But I don't want to go in. I'm not going to let you go in about a t-shirt or food or any of that stuff.
I want to pause.
Nope. Yeah, okay.
I just want to kind of take a poll from the panel and whoever wants to add in the chat a comment. What do you guys think? Do you think she was down in the hotel lobby in the little store stealing stuff?
I damn well do.
Probably, yeah.
Yep.
She thought it was a free ride because the state had called her as a witness, and she thought, the state would just
Well,
pick up the tab.
she was high on PCP.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah, I think it was more about just all out taking stuff. Didn't give a fuck who saw, who knew, who cared, or anything else. And my next question is, do you think that Giger is lying about not knowing, not being able to control whether or not somebody goes out to investigate or not?
Much as he's bitching and griping about it, yeah, I do.
Oh,
I think he knows a lot more.
they probably arranged that they'll slow walk this deal
Okay.
Yeah.
until they can
That's
get
what
through her trial so that she can through her testimony.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I thought. That's what I was thinking too. I'm just, I know it's kind of hard. Oh, I should have made a poll. I didn't think about that. I guess I can do that.
I mean,
just
this
need to
goes
go
directly.
to-
This goes directly to her credibility. Again, I mean, this is just literally just happened, and this is along with all the other bullshit, and her difficulty as being answering Mr. Adams' questions. Even though I think he should have done more to correct and ask the court to say, about calling him Spike and all that shit.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Well,
anyway.
we could FOIA the charges that the state paid for her
That's true.
Yeah.
as a witness, because I mean they're saying that all that stuff's going to have to be paid on her sister's credit card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see what those charges ended up being.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good idea, Kay.
Yeah, it is.
Well, Jack, I mean, I know Jack is so iced coffee over in Foul Play said, "Ooh, love a poll." I forgot I can do polls on YouTube.
Yep.
But and Jack can as well. But the thing is that if you're in Foul Play, unless Jack creates a poll, you're not going to get that poll. I can go over into my YouTube and create the poll that you guys could all take. But you would have to come over to my YouTube channel which isn't a bad thing, honestly. But you'd have to come over to my YouTube channel to take that poll, and I would be kind of behind in scrolling the transcript,
Pages.
which is no big deal. But anyway, so yeah, that's something we'll have to work out for another time, possibly ahead of time, is a poll that we can post so that people can answer it that way, because that is a lot more effective.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay. Okay. All right. So Jack, you can carry on line 20 if you'd like.
Okay. So Mr. Adams says okay to the judge's order or direction. Okay. Line 23. At about approximately 1 in the morning last night, you get another room there at the hotel, correct?
For me and my daughter. For me and my 15-year-old daughter. Her and her 12-year-old sister and brother was arguing over the bed situation.
So is that a yes?
Yes, sir.
And then this morning, they couldn't locate you until later, correct? Your sister was looking for you and could not locate you.
My sister was asleep, so she did not know.
She did not know that you got the other room.
She did not know what room number. I didn't inform her. When I called her phone, it went straight to voicemail.
So starting in reverse order of your contacts with Officer Holtzclaw, you state that the last contact you had with him, you can't recall today, but it's the day before you moved or boarded up your house to leave Oklahoma City, correct?
The day, yes. He spoke with my mother on the first day. My sister, Gloria Marie Booker, came, and when he told my mother, come down here and get her then, my mother had stated to him that she was blind, but she would send her daughter.
I'm just trying to establish a time frame. Although you don't know the date, I'm trying to start with the last time you ever saw Officer Holtzclaw would have been the day before you moved from Oklahoma City or boarded up your house and left, correct?
Yes, that's the day he wants to come in and have sex with me.
What?
What the fuck?
What the hell? What? Where the hell did that come from?
Oh my God.
Just like, what
Uh,
is she talking about now? It's bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Line 6.
All right. All right. And that's where he told you, you understand as a police officer that he is there to protect the citizens of Oklahoma City, correct? He's there.
After what he done to me, he wasn't there to protect nobody but his own self.
But he came up to your door and told you that he had an informant tell him that you had just sold a $20 rock of crack cocaine, correct?
That was a lie for the simple fact that I don't deal with crack cocaine.
Ma'am, listen to his question and just answer the question.
Yes, sir.
You say on your last contact with Officer Holtzclaw, he knocked on your door and told you he had an informant tell him that you had sold a $20 rock of crack cocaine, correct?
Yes. Would you like me to answer the question now, sir?
That is the question.
Are you asking? You want
That is the...
me to answer it?
No, I want you to answer my question. That's what happened, correct? He knocked on the door and told you that the informant told him that you had just sold a $20 rock of crack cocaine, correct?
Yes. Would you like my response?
Oh my God.
You've just given it to us. So then what happened?
No.
Hang on. You answered his question. If the state thinks they need to follow up, they'll do that later. Just answer the question.
And then you deny him entry, correct?
I deny him what?
You will not let him enter your home.
No, not to come in and have sex with me.
So,
God.
so on the photograph that Miss Giger put up there, the door was open and the glass door was open, correct?
On which time?
Just like that.
When? When was this?
When was what? Is that your house?
Yeah, that's my house, but I mean,
Look, I'm trying to give a visual picture here of what you're saying occurred.
okay, well, that's not a good picture, sir.
That's not a good picture?
No.
What would be a good picture?
Like, I don't know which part of the house that is.
Well, could that
Wait a minute.
possibly the front door?
Wait a minute. There's the stars. The door's open. What's the question, sir?
Does that help you?
That's my stars and that's my door. Yes, sir.
I understand your testimony on this last time you see Officer Holtzclaw. You said that the glass door was wide open, just like it is in the photograph.
Yeah, because the lock broke.
Okay, but was it open?
It was just always open.
And your door, you opened the door to talk to Officer Holtzclaw, correct?
Yes, I did.
So it looks like the picture that I'm depicting up here on the...
My door was not.
It looked like Exhibit 401, correct?
Nope.
Okay, why not?
My door was not open all the way because when Spike entered my house, when he came up the stairs, when I looked out the window seeing him coming, he walked up that screen door was not open.
I thought, was the screen door when you testified?
You're talking about at this time. I'm not trying to get, you're showing me.
Hang on, ma'am. Go ahead and ask a question and listen to his question.
When you testified on direct examination specifically that Mr. Giger, this man right here, asked you if the screen door was open when Officer Holtzclaw says you saw on this last time, and you answered yes. Is that a fair statement?
When he came up to my house,
Oh my God. Yes, when Officer Holtzclaw, on this last occasion that you ever saw him, that he come up to your house, you said that was the glass, the screen door. The screen door right here was open, as it's depicted in this picture, and you answered yes. Do you recall that?
okay. When he came,
Okay, either.
Ma'am, do you recall that? Do you recall that? Just answer the question.
that the screen door was open,
That the screen door was open, or that you told Mr. Giger that it was open. Either one. I'll take either one.
I'll pass on that.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Jesus.
How can Henderson let this continue? I just don't get it.
Really?
She is incompetent as a witness.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Oh,
probably
shit.
not really paying that much attention. He's probably thinking about who he's going to screw in his chambers.
I was just
after.
thinking the same thing.
Yep. I was thinking it too, but I thought maybe he would be a judge for a minute. But okay, line 17. Okay,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hold it down.
Everybody in the courtroom going ape shit.
I'm sure.
But my door, my front door was shut.
Okay, so this door was shut when Officer Holtzclaw,
Knocked on it.
when he knocked on it, but you opened it.
Yes, I did.
So did it eventually, during the last contact with Officer Holtzclaw, look like Exhibit 401, where it was open like that?
When I can't, my door was shut. The main door was shut.
Right.
He knocked on my door.
And then you opened the door.
I peeked and opened my door.
Do what?
I halfway opened it.
Okay, like that.
I passed. I don't know how big it was open.
How many passes are we going to get here?
If I can't answer your question, sir.
Okay, so what you testified to is Officer Holtzclaw approaches the door, and you kind of open it, however you opened it, and he tells you that an informant has just told him you sold a $20 rock.
Uh-huh.
And he wanted to come in your, is that a yes?
Yes.
And he told you he wanted to come in and search your house,
Yes.
and you told him he was not allowed to come in.
Yes.
And he told you you were on the phone with your mother at the time.
I called my mama. My mother and I told her he's back again trying to come in my house. Oh, I called my mother. And I told her he's back again trying to come in my house. Actually, he asked me, "What are you doing?"
Okay. He didn't start out the conversation that you were selling crack cocaine out of your residence with your kids there. He just came up here and asked you to let him come in.
Well, he knocked on my what? When he knocked on my door, he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Nothing." He was like, "You gonna let me in?" And I said, "No." I said, "No." He said, "Are you not gonna let me in? One of my informants told me you sold a rock today." I said, "Come on, you could have came with something better." I called my mother. I said, "Mama, this Spike is back at my door trying to come in now. I've already warned my mother that he has touched me." She said, "Put him on the phone." I put him on the phone with my mother. She said, "Why are you harassing my daughter?" He was like, "Well, come down here and get her then." And she informed to him that she was blind, but my daughter will come get her.
So is it your testimony today that you put your mother on the phone with Officer Holtzclaw?
I had no other security. Yes, I did.
And you understand that your mother has testified here in court today. You know that.
Yes, I do.
In any event, it's your testimony that he says, come on and get her.
Yes, he did.
That's what Officer Holtzclaw said to you.
And handed me back the phone.
So he actually had held your phone?
I gave it to him.
Okay. So did you continue to talk to your mother?
I told her I'd call her back. He said, "You're not going to let me in?" I said, "Go get the task force and come back. If I sold a rock, go get task force and come raid." My sister picked me up the next day. Never seen him again but one time. When I got back, him, Spike, come walking up to my house. I peeked out the window, laid on the floor. A couple months later, I got a knock at my door with Detective Gregory.
Wow.
Oh,
Never
Jesus.
heard that before.
Isn't that crazy? All that stuff about calling the task force and come and raid me and holy
That's
shit.
new.
Yeah.
Laying on the, he came back and peeked in her window and she
Yeah.
laid on the floor.
She's laying on the floor. She's
He just
Wow.
continued to add to her story that, oh
Yeah.
my God.
well,
I can
Me.
see Gigger probably just turning flips inside his head like, shut up. Had to be. All right, line 25. Okay, well, there's a lot of time in there, but let's go back a little bit. You testified that you told Officer Holtzclaw you actually challenged him to get the task force.
Go get the what?
So get the task force, the drug task force. That's what you just told this jury. You told him to go get the drug task force and come back to your house.
Exactly. If he found if okay. He just pretty much told me.
All right, ma'am.
Your Honor, I would,
Ask another question.
after you
let
told
her
him
keep
to,
going.
yeah, let her keep building on that story. After you told him to get the task force, you understand that the task force is a specialized force here in Oklahoma City that deals in illegal narcotics, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that they do a lot of raids on homes and drug homes on people who are selling dope here here out of the community, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you have now challenged a patrol officer to go get the task force and come hit your house, right?
Can I speak?
Just answer the question.
Answer yes or no.
Yes, I did tell him that.
Now, after you have challenged an Oklahoma City police officer to go get the task force and come hit your house, you moved.
Yes, I moved
You boarded up your house and you got out of Oklahoma City,
away from Spike.
away from your house where you had drugs.
Oh,
Your Honor, I would object to the form of that question. There's not been evidence that she had drugs in her house.
Overruled.
I had
He
to I had to say sorry. There's no evidence that she ever said any of that. Okay, sorry. Line 16.
He walked through my home. If any drugs was in my home, he would have found them.
Well, he didn't walk through your home on that day, did he?
He walked through my home the day before when he pulled Terry Williams out when he came in unwillingly.
And let's talk about that one. That would have been your second contact with Officer Holtzclaw.
Who? Spike?
I'm going to call him Officer Holtzclaw.
I call him Spike.
Call him whatever you want.
Yeah.
Now, when Officer Holtzclaw came to your house on that evening, it's your testimony that you weren't there when he first got there, correct?
I wasn't.
Okay. You were gone and your daughter was with you, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so she wasn't there.
No, sir.
So she didn't have to go in the house and get you out.
No, sir.
And you understand that she's testified here today, too.
From my understanding, sir.
And so, under your testimony, is that Officer Holtzclaw is already at your house when you pull up, and you notice that there is a black male laying by the telephone pole in your front yard.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Officer Holtzclaw says, "Tabitha, come here," correct?
Yes, sir.
When he pulls up, or when he's out in your yard, under your version of events, correct?
Repeat that, please.
Under your version of events, he's already there, and you pull up, and he tells you to come here.
He tells me to come here, but I am more concerned who's lying in my yard.
Because there's somebody who's laying in your yard.
That's what I thought it's a man laying in the yard. Don't you think you should be doing your Oklahoma City duties?
The second contact that you had with Officer Holtzclaw was after your house was burglarized, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Someone had kicked in your front door and gone in and stole the microwave and some food, correct?
And whatever else he could get, which wasn't nothing, too much of nothing.
It was a lot of things earlier.
Yeah,
under
there's a lot of
Yeah.
things.
that and a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Yep. Can you explain to this jury, so under your version of events, you asked Officer Holtzclaw, "What's that guy doing in my yard?" And he walks over to the guy and kicks him and tells him to leave.
Yes.
And the guy leaves, correct?
Yes.
Then what you say happened is he asks you to get in his car, and he's again talking to you about whether or not you've got warrants and taken care of, which you hadn't, correct?
He
You had not taken care of the warrants, and he was just talking to you about that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Then he starts asking you about narcotics or drugs, correct? If you had any drugs on your body or your person.
When he put me in the back seat with that $20 bill, yes, sir.
And you told him you didn't, and although he didn't ask you to show you your breast, you did, correct?
Rephrase that question, please.
Yes. As you're sitting in the back seat of the squad car, you've testified on direct examination that Officer Holtzclaw asked you if you had anything on you, any drugs, and you told him no.
And he asked me to show him.
He asked you to show him, and then you lifted up your shirt, exposing your breasts to him, correct?
Yes.
He didn't touch you.
Not the second time. I had on black tights. He looked in my private part. I did not have on any panties.
We're not there yet. On the blouse, it's your testimony that you, without Officer Holtzclaw telling you he wanted to see your breast, you showed them to him, correct?
Which time?
We're on the second time,
sir.
We're on the second time you ever allegedly saw Officer Holtzclaw.
Okay. What about the second time? I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
Uh-huh. Okay, we're talking about the second time you allegedly saw Officer Holtzclaw, where you said that you exposed your breast to him. Do you recall any of that?
Yes.
Okay. You again would agree with me that he didn't ask you to see your breast. You lifted up your shirt and showed them to him, correct?
He asked me what did I have under my shirt.
What do you have under your shirt?
Do I have drugs under my shirt?
And you told him you didn't.
Yes.
And then you lifted up your shirt and showed your breast to him.
It wasn't, no. He was like, let me see.
Okay, let me see that you don't have any drugs underneath your shirt.
Yes, sir.
And then you lifted it up, and you say today that you had a bra on, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recall previously testifying you didn't have one on?
I had one on that time. First time I did not.
You recall testifying before that you did not have on a bra?
Do I recall?
Yes.
No.
In any event, you lifted up your shirt, you exposed your breast to Officer Holtzclaw, correct?
Yes.
And okay,
And my pants.
we're going to get there. After you finished, he asked you, do you have anything down there, correct?
Drugs.
Drugs. And you're still sitting in the police car, if this is the seat. In your testimony, you're sitting like this, correct?
Outside the car.
Are you sitting in the squad car seat? Are you on the seat? Is your bottom on the seat?
I'm in the back seat. When they get ready to let you out, your feet go out that way.
And that's what I'm trying. This is the seat. Is this how you were sitting? You're sitting?
No, turn your back to it.
Are you like this?
Close up edger to your chair, like you're getting ready to get out of the police car.
Close up, Edger. Okay.
There's some new
God, I almost
terminology
spit out
here.
the soda.
Yeah.
That's not. I've refused to drink anything that we're done with this shit. I'll put it to the side.
Yeah,
Edger.
no more
remove
soda
all.
for me.
Yeah, remove all objects that are near you.
No more PCP for me.
Yeah, I'm trying to quit too. Thank you, Susan.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, line 13. Like this. Does that look better? Right there.
Uh-huh.
So the back is to your back.
What is?
The back. Your back is to the back police car's back seat.
No. It's like I'm getting out.
My feet was on the pavement. Oh, I'm sorry, like this?
My feet was on the pavement.
Okay, like this.
On the pavement. No. Uh-huh. No, uh-uh. No, you're wrong again.
Okay. Judge, may I approach the witness?
You may.
Assume that this is the back seat of the squad car and you're sitting in. Show us how you were sitting.
I can't even.
You get in the police car.
Yeah.
You're back on far as this away. When it's time to get out, if you're behind the passenger seat, you're going to get out to your left. So I'm pursuing to get out. He's in front of me.
Wait, I'm trying to think. So, wait a second. Sorry, guys. So, you get in the police car, you're back on far as this way. When it's time to get out, if you're behind the passenger seat, you're going to get out to your left. Well, if I'm behind the passenger seat, I'm going to get out on the right.
Yeah, I think she's behind the driver's seat.
She is behind the driver's seat.
Yep.
But she's also high, so.
Yep, no doubt. And
she's a passenger. That's what she's thinking of.
Yeah.
And a thief.
Yeah.
And a thief. Sorry.
And a thief. Jack. Okay,
I'm sorry. I'm so going straight to hell. Sorry. Okay, line 10. Is that where we're at?
Yes.
So if this is the seat in the squad car, it would go like this, correct?
Nope.
Oh, how would it go?
I just showed you.
How is it? Is it a bench seat where more than one person can sit back there?
It's a regular police car that you've been seeing for centuries.
Oh, God. For
Yeah,
centuries.
back in the 1800s when they had those police cars, you guys know. She is so. I'm so sorry. She's so fucked up. I'll get on the down elevator. I know I'm going straight to hell, but God, why is the judge not disqualifying her as a witness? I do not understand.
Well, they didn't want to because they were going to have to use a specific case law, and it didn't fit the circumstances, and I don't know. But
Well, I mean, Scott Adams is the reason she's on the stand. He wanted her up there, so that was the end of that.
Right?
Yeah. So
I would have. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but to me, maybe Sherry can chime in. But given how she's testifying or not testifying, and the difficulty in which she has to remembering, to me, everything and all the horseshit that had just happened that morning, to me, he should have asked her to be disqualified as a witness.
Well, I think he's thinking it would completely discredit her with the jury.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree, Susan.
I think so too.
I think that was a bad strategy. But.
And he was actually convicted on some of hers, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a
he
split
was.
verdict, 2-2.
God,
The burglary
unreal.
and the
That's
stalking charge were acquitted,
Yeah.
but the
Just
two,
unreal.
um,
The
Yeah.
two sexually related
mhm,
charges.
Yes,
correct.
exactly.
God damn.
What do you get,
Uh,
Wanda? 18 years on her, or what?
Yeah. Yes.
9 or never
I thought
mind.
there was actually 3 that he was. Uh,
3 sexual charges.
yeah, I think there were 3 sexual charges:
Okay.
the 2 breasts and the pants, because they did the whole pants thing separately.
I don't know
Wow.
how they could possibly have believed her after this. My
I don't
God.
either. I really don't.
I think by the time they got back in the jury room, they were so confused about
They don't know who's
which
who.
charges were what, and
Right.
Well,
guessing
yeah,
you're
that's
right
another
on
big.
that.
Yeah.
That's another big problem with this case because it was so much.
Were
No.
they able to take notes, the jury?
Uh,
I'm
I
unsure.
I believe they were able to take notes. I don't
I would
know if
sure
they were
hope
allowed
so.
to use their notes in the.
We haven't read anything where the judge advises them to leave their notes or notebooks.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll have to find out.
Hey, that's a reason for a mistrial right there. If the jury couldn't take notes with 13 different
Right.
witnesses, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Crazy.
All right, we're after the centuries of. Okay, so line 19. Is it a bench seat where more than one person can sit in the back seat?
I'm not an expert when it comes to cars. For fuck's sake.
Can't just answer a yes or no question.
God.
It's always
Susan.
something else. She's always got to
Pulling
deflect.
teeth. No
She's
shit.
just being a smart ass bitch is what she's doing intentionally.
Are you an expert on whether or not more than one person can fit in the back seat of this car?
I can't recall that, sir.
Let's use your common sense then. Can more than one person sit in the back seat of this squad car that you're saying that these things happened?
Let's use my common sense. A four-door car. You have
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break. It's 3:45. So what we'll do is take a 15-minute break. I'm going to admonish you not to discuss the case, not to let anyone discuss the case with you. Don't try to find anything out about the case. Should anyone try to contact you about this case, contact me or my staff immediately. Everybody in the audience, have a seat. Don't get up. Mr. Holtzclaw, you're excused until 4 o'clock.
I have an appointment back in my chambers to dry hump someone, so I'll be right back.
I'm scheduled to dip my dick in a couple of minutes.
I thought maybe he was going to go visit Mary Palm and her 4 sisters.
Oh no, he's
5
not
sisters.
real
Oh
deal.
no. Oh no.
Okay.
He wants
All right.
an assistant DA.
Oh my gosh, Jesus.
That's awful. Straight to hell, guys.
No.
Well, like I said, we'll see you there.
Yeah, I got you.
Giger had to help her get down.
Yeah, ma'am, you can step down. Mr. Giger, help her out. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you're excused till 4 p.m.
Whew.
I bet he had to help her out. She probably argued with herself about taking a step. God damn, I don't want to do that. There'd be a floor there. Wow.
Yeah, and Cherie, your inflection and stuff when you were reading that was really good too, but it does sound like Henderson's like, Jesus, fuck.
Yeah. I gotta put a
Taking a
stop to
break.
this.
That's it.
He's terrible. He's absolutely horrible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Read
Hey,
what's in the parentheses, somebody.
I got to mute from.
Oh, okay, Jack.
I got to mute for a minute. It won't take long. Promise.
You're
Okay.
fine. You're fine.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
I was just saying in the parentheses, it says after the recess, the following occurred in open court with all parties and jurors present. Oh, that's just normal.
That's just, yeah.
I thought maybe there was some kind of hubbub.
Yeah, it's just a legitimate break.
Yeah.
Like he needed to probably a few people knocking back some shots at this point. Hey, TJ,
Damn.
you've missed a good one. You're gonna have to watch the replay.
I wonder what the press was like after today, in the
No,
news.
I don't know. That's a good question. Neverly, my goodness, I'm trying to work here. Sorry. Hey, this is just cheap entertainment, right? It's just insane though to pick out so many lies in this second part. I mean, there's lies everywhere, obviously, and we've talked about those. But it's just like lie upon lie upon lie upon lie, and then the story just gets like just grows into this. Uh, I don't know what it was. It's insane when she started talking about he wanted to come in and have sex with me. What?
That was the first time that's ever been mentioned ever in anything.
Ever in her accusation.
Jesus.
Ever. So,
And
then
it's so inconsistent. She says, I called my mom the minute I saw him start walking toward my house. Then it's later she called her mom after she talked to him. I mean, it's
Yeah.
so inconsistent, all in the same
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Well, and also, she says before when he knocks on the door, he asks her, what are you doing or whatever. And she says, I'm cooking, I think she reported I was cooking dinner for my youngins.
Yeah.
Or I was cooking dinner for my children. And then all of a sudden he says, knocks on the door, asked her what she's doing. And she says, nothing. What? It's just, it pisses me off that he was found guilty on any of her charges because this is so outrageous. So outrageous. My head hurts. It's so outrageous.
I don't see how the just continuing with this the way she is. I don't think it does her credibility anymore.
Hey, I'll be right back, guys.
Anything more than okay, let's do this tomorrow. But
yeah.
She might be worse tomorrow, though.
She might be worse tomorrow because regardless of what she says about taking the PCP 5 days earlier, I believe full and well that she had taken that PCP the night before she was supposed to testify. That's just my opinion. There's no proof of that.
How long does it stay in your system? I don't know about that.
72 hours, didn't it?
I looked it up last week, and it can stay in your system up to 46 hours. But not 5 fucking days, I'll tell you that. And so she's just and as sporadic as her testimony has been, like with Giger, she was really confused and not, I mean, he was always cutting her off because he was afraid she was going to say something he didn't want her to say or go down a path he didn't want to go down. And so he's always cutting her off. Well, we'll get back to that. You notice we never did circle back around when Giger during direct about her psychic doctor, Dr. Al-Khoury. I knew he wouldn't, because that's a big deal with Al-Khoury. So, it's anyway. And then she gets with Adams, and all of the accusers are really snarky and snippy with him. But this is just like, it's got snark on top of confusion, on top of being high, on top of being stupid. And it's just a clusterfuck. It's insane. So it's really hard to follow. I mean, perhaps I shouldn't, be laughing about some of this stuff, but come on. That's the way police car seats have been for centuries. Did
you know that?
I mean, and obviously something was going on in the courtroom, because at some point Judge Henderson had to say, all right, everybody, calm down or settle down or whatever it was he said.
People were probably laughing.
Probably some laughter going on for sure. So, Okay, recess is over. Let's get back because I've got a little extra thing to share with you when we're done with this.
Okay. So
All right.
it'll be like
Is
Line,
Susan back?
line two. Yeah, she's back. Line
I'm
two.
back.
All right, let the record reflect all members of the jury are present. Counsel for the state, counsel for the defendant is present. Ms. Barnes, if you'll retake the stand, let me remind you, you're still under oath. You may proceed, Mr. Adams.
Ms. Barnes, when we broke, we were talking about the second incident or the second occasion that you were around Officer Holtzclaw when you said that you showed your breast to him. Do you recall that?
You said what? Could you repeat that, please?
I'm just trying to get us to a time frame so that we can all be on the same page. You understand that when we took a break that we were talking about the second occasion that you supposedly came into contact with Officer Holtzclaw. And the culmination of that is that you, and I brought it out, and I brought out the chair to have you show us how you were seated in the chair or in the back of the squad car, and you lifted up your shirt and showed your breast. You remember all that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then came a point in time you demonstrated for us the way that you said you were sitting in the squad car whenever these events occurred, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when you're sitting in the squad car after the breast incident happened, it's your testimony that Officer Holtzclaw said, "What about down there?" or words to that effect.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And at that point in time, you stated that although Officer Holtzclaw didn't ask you, you pulled, you had on leggings and that you pulled them out so that he could see that you had no drugs.
He asked me, did I have anything down there?
Okay. He asked you, did you have anything down there? And what did you say?
No.
Okay.
He
He
asked,
asked, I'm sorry. Okay.
could he see?
Okay. And what did you say?
No. I mean, I pulled it. I had on leggings, so I did like this. He looked. It was over with. Excuse me.
Whenever you say that you pulled the leggings out
From the waistline.
from the waistline and you pull them out, were your feet inside or outside of the car?
Outside.
Okay. Do you recall talking to Detective Gregory back in August of last year of 2014, wherein he asked you that very question, and you told him that your feet were on the inside of the car, of the floor of the. Let me say that again. He asked you that very question, and you told him that your feet were on the inside of the car on the floorboard.
I don't recall that.
Okay. If I allow you to listen to an audio recording of that particular segment of the interview, could that refresh your memory?
Sure.
Okay. May I approach your owner?
Okay.
She can wear headphones if need be, or I can play it out loud. I have it queued up to the point where Detective Gregory is asking her specifically where her feet were in the vehicle at the time that she pulled her leggings out and did this. And she says her feet were inside the car. And either I can let her wear headphones and listen, or I can just play it out loud, whatever the court would prefer.
Well, it's not introduced into evidence, so it probably would be better if it has to refresh her recollection.
Headphones are fine, Judge.
If you have headphones.
It's ready to go.
All right, Ms. Barnes, what we're going to do is see if this recording refreshes your recollection as to the question that was just asked, okay? So it's a recording. Since it's not in evidence, you'll just listen to it with headphones on, all right? Before you ask any questions, are we done?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and get your headphones back.
Did you hear that okay?
Yes.
Does that refresh your memory in regards to whether your feet were inside or outside of the car at the time you pulled your leggings up?
Inside.
Oh my God. So would it be a fair statement to say that whenever you talk to Officer Gregory, if this was a back seat and you were sitting in the seat like this,
Yes.
now on this second time that you're talking about these events happened to you because became aware of the fact that Officer Holtzclaw had entered your home, correct?
Yes.
And do you have any information or knowledge that Officer Holtzclaw had actually called it in as your door being wide open? Do you know anything about that?
No.
I'm just asking, do you have any information or knowledge that Officer Holtzclaw is driving by your house, noticed that your door was opened, and he calls it in? Do you have any knowledge of that?
No.
In any event, when you left that day, do you recall anyone being in your home?
Yes.
An individual by the name of Terry Williams?
Yes.
Is that the individual that your kids call stepdad?
They call him Terry
Do they also call him stepfather?
sometimes.
And if this is back in March of 2014, was Terry Williams, was he your boyfriend at the time?
We was on rocky edges, so yes, I could say yes.
We've been on rocky edges for a while.
Yeah, we sure have. Was Mr. Williams staying at your residence at 15th and Jordan at that time?
No, he had his own residence.
Often he would stay over at your place.
Probably every other day, or he'll go home and come back.
Quite often.
Quite often?
Was he staying there quite often?
No, he had his own residence.
In any event, it's your understanding that Mr. Williams was in the residence whenever Officer Holtzclaw was going through the residence or clearing the residence. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Now, as you understand that Mr. Williams is a registered sex offender here in Oklahoma.
Yes.
But is he?
Huh?
But is he?
Yeah, thanks for pausing there, Kay.
Because Rhonda and I did some research, and the sex offense that we found was in, what town was that
it was in Tillman County.
And that was prior to the sex offender registry being put into place.
Yeah. I think it was 2006. The charge was 2006. It was he had illegally entered a female friend or girlfriend's home. She asked him to leave and he was with somebody else, and he got belligerent and he threw her down on the couch and climbed on top of her and held her hands, and so that she couldn't get away. And I believe that the charging document says that he held her down and kissed her on the mouth and on the neck or something, but he pinned her down. And so that is the original sex offense. So it's a sexual assault for sure, no doubt. But like Kay said, the sex offender registry didn't begin until 2008, and this charge was in 2006. So
interesting.
Yeah, so we're and I'm guilty of calling him a registered sex offender, but it doesn't look like he was ever a registered sex offender. And that's a difference between a convicted sex offender and one who's required to be on a sex offender registry for the rest of their lives. So
right.
Yeah, we need to do a little bit more research because his rap sheet is pretty lengthy in a lot of different counties.
Yep.
So, I mean, he may well be a registered sex offender.
Yeah.
She says he was.
And because and when I looked in OSCN, there were two charges or 2 counts for protective orders. One of them was declined. Her name was Rhonda. Hers was declined, but this other lady in 2006, she did have a PPO against him. So But yeah, his record goes way back and way beyond 2014. So we're going to keep looking into it. But for now, I don't think we're going to call him a registered sex offender anymore.
I mean,
So we
she
know.
says that he is, but she also said that, that Holtzclaw had been arrested before she was interviewed. So
I wonder if Brian Bates has any more information on that. I bet he does.
I'm
Could
sure he
be.
does.
Yeah, it could be. Hey, R. William. Great to see you. Yeah, so Liam says, "Oh my God, the poor AV guy would have to disinfect those headphones after they were on her greasy air." Yeah,
my
something
God.
like that.
Or just burn them you'd have to contain it, but whatever.
Yeah. So from now on, we at least on this channel, we're not going to refer to Terry Williams as a registered sex offender until we find proof.
Although
Thank
he
you.
is a convicted sex offender.
He is convicted, but he's not,
On
as
the
far as
registry.
we can tell now, he's not on a sex offender registry list. So,
Yeah, it's different. So yeah, I agree.
so yeah,
Okay.
I don't like being, saying something that's not true. So
Right. Totally agree.
Okay, thanks for bringing that up, Kay.
All right. Line 24. And that
21.
and oh, I'm sorry. I missed something.
21.
Okay. 21. And it's your testimony that you've talked to his probation officer before.
Yes.
And that she okayed Mr. Williams being around your minor children.
Yes, he's able to be around minor children, his grandchildren, and he cannot live by a park. I'm leaving that a closing, that statement.
Okay. Whatever that means. Yeah. And I understand you say that he's allowed to be around his biological children, but would you agree with me that none of these children that live with you at your house are his biological children?
Not only, I didn't say his biological children are grown.
Okay. Are you? I'm just gonna listen to the question.
Okay.
Are any of the children that lived in your home, any of your kids, in March of 2014, are any of those kids Terry Williams' biological children?
No.
Okay. Now, and then we go to the very first time that you say anything happened, or that Officer Holtzclaw. Do you recall the date of that?
Excuse me?
Do you recall the month that occurred? The first time you came into contact with Officer Holtzclaw?
I don't know the month. I'm sorry.
You would agree with me that after all the events we've discussed, that at no time did you ever call anyone from any law enforcement agency and report any of these activities?
Nope, I did not, sir.
Would you also agree with me that after the second event or the second occasion that you say you came into contact with Officer Holtzclaw, your house was burglarized shortly thereafter?
The first time or the second time?
The second time that you talked to Officer Holtzclaw, or you came into contact with him,
Yes.
your house was burglarized the very next or that night,
The next day.
the next day.
That's wrong.
Yes, sir.
That's wrong.
It was about a week later, right? Isn't that what you guys said?
Almost. Well, the burglary and the first incident and the burglary happened within the same 24-hour period.
Oh my God.
The
Yeah,
third,
so
yeah,
they're
The
talking about the second time right now.
yeah, the second event was almost a month later on March 25th.
Oh,
The house was not burglarized that night or the night before. It was a whole month earlier.
Wow.
So this is, I didn't read that earlier, but this is messed up. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ah!
jeez.
Okay. Line 15. And that officer, along with what I think you testified to, would be about 9 other police officers showed up for that burglary.
Yes, sir.
And the guy was actually coming out of your house with a microwave and some food items, correct?
Actually, he was on the corner.
But he got taken into custody, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in this, while all this was going on, is when you state that you pull some female officer off to the side in your house.
Yes, I did.
Okay. And you did not ever tell that female officer nor any other officer that Officer Holtzclaw had done anything inappropriate to you.
Nope, I did not.
And the very first time that you told anyone from law enforcement or you made any allegations or of impropriety between Officer Holtzclaw and yourself, again, would have been in August of 2014.
Can you repeat that, please?
The first time you ever told anyone from law enforcement, and in this case particularly, Detective Gregory, that anything inappropriate happened between you and Officer Holtzclaw had occurred was in August of 2014.
Is that when Detective Gregory approached me?
Yes, it is.
Um, yes, sir.
Okay. Now you've testified on direct examination that Officer Holtzclaw would come over, and just correct me if I'm wrong, he would come over right after he got off work with that stinky cologne. You recall that comment?
Yes.
Okay. Is it your testimony here that Officer Holtzclaw would visit your home when he was off duty?
Excuse me?
Is it your testimony here today that Officer Holtzclaw would come over to your home when he was off duty?
No.
So where does this statement, I'm just trying to understand the genesis of the statement of he would come over right after he got off work with that stinky cologne.
Right before his shift, when I figured his shift was started. Because when he approached me, he, just like you get out of the shower and get in your car and go, I smelled it and fresh mousse on his hair.
Oh my
It's
God.
Jesus.
So just so that I have a clearer answer, are you saying he did or did not come over to your house after he got off work?
It was when he came on duty.
So what time did he come on duty?
I cannot give you a Pacific time, sir.
It's hard.
Oh boy. May I have just 1 second, Your Honor? May I have one moment, Your Honor? I'm about to wrap it up.
All right.
After you visited with Detective Gregory, you went and retained the services of a local lawyer here to sue the city of Oklahoma City and the police department, correct?
Yes.
And the name of that lawyer that you hired is a guy by the name of Mark Hammonds here in Oklahoma City, correct?
Yes.
And you told him what happened, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Adams, I'm sorry. I don't know if you're going to ask questions about a pleading. If so, can I have a copy of it too, please?
You want a copy of it?
If you have one.
Mr. Hammonds, on your behalf, after you met with Detective Gregory, instituted an action here in Oklahoma City against Officer Holtzclaw, the Oklahoma City municipality, correct?
Yes.
And that's been removed to federal court. Are you aware of that?
I didn't hear the statement. My eyes was watering. Could you repeat that, please?
What the hell? I didn't hear the statement. My eyes was watering.
When I'm
Maybe
in my
you're-
room and I'm messing with these documents and I'm highlighting shit and whatever, I might talk to myself or whatever. But shit like this had me laughing out loud, and my grandkids like, "What are you laughing at, Nana?" How do you explain that? Like, because somebody's
can't.
stupid. Somebody's just stupid.
You
Well,
can't
I
explain
think
it.
what happened is her eyes were watering so much that it filled her ears up, and then she couldn't hear.
Yeah, I couldn't hear. Drowned you, deafened her.
Evidently.
Well, the ears, nose, and throat. Nope, it doesn't say eyes. Just ears, nose,
Nope.
and throat are connected. She's got some serious issues. She needs to see a doctor. Oh
Yeah,
God.
she does.
Okay,
Okay, line
sorry.
22. No problem. Yes, that has been removed to federal court. Are you aware of that?
What has been removed to?
the lawsuit that you filed against Officer Holtzclaw in the city of Oklahoma City.
It's been moved to federal court,
Yes,
You know
ma'am.
what that means.
and
Are you aware of that? I'm just asking.
no, I do not.
On the lawsuit that you filed against Officer Holtzclaw, you stated that he broke into your home and sexually assaulted you there. We have yet to hear anything like that. Can you explain to me how that is in your lawsuit?
No, I didn't say that.
Mr. Adams, I'm sorry. Where are you?
I'm on page 3, paragraph F.
Thank you.
May I approach the witness?
They approach.
Not in my signature, it's not.
I'm going to ask you to take a look at paragraph F.
That's not correct. That's incorrect.
And
Would you
open your
agree with me?
ears.
Yeah, right. Open your eyes so you can hear it. You would agree with me that that's not true.
That one right there is not true.
You'd agree with me that I did state that correctly.
Huh?
I did state what it says correctly.
What you just showed me?
Yes.
Who did you get what you just showed me? That's from my lawyer?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
That is not what I said.
Right. All I'm trying to establish is I'm not misleading this jury, that I stated what it says in there.
Okay, that's incorrect.
And I agree with that. It is incorrect what it says, but what I said that it says is correct.
Oh,
Your Honor, we'll stipulate if we can that
I don't know if she's following.
Mr. Adams is correct. That's what the civil lawsuit says.
And I'll accept the stipulation.
All right.
oh, thank God.
And in regards to in regards to what you're asking to do in this particular case, you're asking for money, aren't you?
I have no comments.
Ma'am, you have to answer. You can't say I have no comment.
Yes.
And this lawsuit, again, was not filed or had you even met with Mr. Hammonds until after you talked to Detective Gregory and you had seen the news, correct?
I have no memory of that. I really don't remember it.
If I told you that the lawsuit was filed in September of 2015, does that help refresh your memory that it had been approximately a month after you met with, actually a year and a month after you met with Detective Gregory?
Yes.
Okay. And certainly way longer after this has been in the news and on the media and things of that nature.
Yes.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Any redirect?
Just briefly, Judge. Miss Barnes, if I ask you something you don't understand, I want you to tell me, okay?
They're done with it for the night.
Yes.
Are you really tired of being here?
Mr. Adams.
Oh, Judge, object.
Court. All right, sustained.
All right, ma'am. On the break, did I ask you to answer Mr. Adams' questions? On the break, did I say answer his questions?
Correct.
Okay. And have you started trying to do that?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Will you agree with me you were being sarcastic
Sarcastic.
with him before that?
Yes, I do.
Judge, I would just object to the form.
All right. Sustained.
Were you being sarcastic with him before that? She doesn't even know what sarcastic means. Give me a break.
She doesn't.
Object to the form, Your Honor.
All right. Overruled. You can answer.
Yes.
Why?
I had a bad morning. Me and my sister had got into it.
All right. Mr. Adams asked you some questions about whether or not you trust the police. excuse me, whether or not you like the police. Do you remember him asking back when you were being sarcastic about that? Do you remember him asking you those questions?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Whenever Detective Gregory first started contacting you about this, did you trust him?
No.
Do you now?
Yes.
When Mr. Adams was asking you about whether or not you like the police, do you remember still talking about that?
Yes.
Do you like the police or do you not like the police?
You want me to tell the truth?
Please.
I can't trust the police. I'm scared, and on a certain extent, I'm not I'm not going to say that I don't like the police, but I know that they are here to protect and serve justice. I feel in my heart you cannot trust every police officer.
Do you trust some police officers?
You don't me from speaking
Do you trust some police officers?
some.
A lot you don't, right?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
All right. I'm going to switch gears now and ask you about this lawsuit that Mr. Adams was just asking you about, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you remember how many times you met with the attorney named Mark Hammonds?
One time.
May I approach, Judge?
Yes.
So that you understand, oops, so that you understand, okay, on page 3, Mr. Adams asked you about, it absolutely says what he read, right? That on March 25th, he broke into the home of TB, TB is you, and sexually assaulted you. You've already said that's not right.
That's not right.
Did you ever tell Mr. Hammonds that he broke into your house and sexually assaulted you?
I don't recall telling them that. I haven't seen them since.
Are there other things in this? Let me ask. Paragraph 1. It talks about someone with the initials SE. Do you have any idea what he's talking about? Or on or about May 7th, he sexually assaulted female identified as SE. Do you know what he's talking about?
No.
Okay, the next one. Let's go to J. Let's go down to K. Assault. Sexually assaulted by the name identified as SB. Do you know what he's talking about?
No.
See, this is all real confusing to the jury, I bet.
Absolutely.
Of course it is.
Okay, would you agree with just that? There's things in here you don't even know what he's talking about.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Ma'am, do you know what pleading jurisdictional limits means as a lawyer?
Jesus.
Oh my God.
God.
Oh, of course I do.
Mm.
Got that in my third year of law school.
Oh.
No.
Do you have any idea as you sit there why this lawsuit that encompasses people like Janie Liggins and others asked for $75,000? Do you know why the lawyer put that in your paperwork?
No.
Okay, have you ever heard of the concept in law that you have to allege a certain amount to even file your lawsuit? Has anyone ever talked to you about that?
No.
Did Mr. Hammonds talk to you about saying I have to allege $75,000 in order to get into the courtroom? Did he talk to you about that?
No.
Okay. Ma'am, do you feel like the police department should pay you some money?
Yes.
Why?
Because I was violated and Spike was on the clock and Spike was on the clock for one. And not only me, it's many. It's many more out there. He should pay for what he's done. Justice. Justice. It's not about the money. I didn't even think about money. You know what I'm saying? I could care less. I would rather see him put away than me get a 10-cent round of dime.
Right, sure.
A 10-cent round of dime. Oh
Wow.
my gosh. And let's talk about that for a minute. Has anybody from the police department or my office given you any money other than getting you a hotel last night?
Nope, wouldn't even buy me a pop.
That's right. Do you remember asking Detective Gregory for some money for an ID card?
Yes.
When did she ask him that?
I have no idea.
I don't, this is the first time hearing about that.
Yeah, it's not in a report anywhere that I've read.
So how would Giger know about it?
Yeah. Who
That's
knows?
interesting.
Yep.
Huh.
Discovery.
That's interesting. Would he give it to you?
No.
And anyway, ma'am, are we paying you to come here and do this?
No,
Is it in fact just the opposite?
just the good work that y'all have put out to pursue this case.
And I'm not saying that's what Mr. Adams was insinuating. I just want the jury to understand nobody's paid you to be here.
No one's paid me a dime to be here.
And I'm not saying he was saying anything different, okay? Let me ask this question. He asked you about a lot of things that happened last night. Do you remember that?
Yes.
There is no doubt. Is there any doubt you tested positive for PCP today?
I'm not gonna lie. I know I was gonna test positive for PCP because
Let me ask you about that. Do you remember him saying, who did you tell and who did you not tell? Do you remember that?
who did I tell what?
About testing positive for PCP today. Do you remember him asking you those questions?
I told
Listen to my question.
an
Damn.
officer.
Just listen to my question. Do you remember him asking you that?
No.
When he was asking you questions, he said, who did you tell about testing positive for PCP? Do you remember Mr. Adams talking to you about that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see that police officer sitting right back there with the blonde hair?
Yes.
Is that who you told?
Yes.
And when did you tell her?
Going up to take the P test?
After you talked to the judge.
Yes.
On the way to take the test.
I said, I have a confession.
Okay. That's who you told?
Yes.
But you would agree you didn't tell the judge. You told her.
Yes.
All right. The events that happened last night at the hotel, do you remember him asking you about getting another room? Remember Mr. Adams talking to you about that just a little while ago? He was asking you questions about what happened at the hotel. Do you remember?
Yes.
Okay. Why did you need another room?
My son, my mother, there was 5 people in one bedroom. It was uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable.
Okay.
I don't want to be in the bed with people that have accidents.
What the hell? Who's going to be young enough to have an accident?
Oh my
I
God.
think that I don't know why, but I feel like it had to do with having a period, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't remember why I heard that, but
Hmm.
like because her daughter was her 15-year-old daughter was also there. I don't know. I don't, for whatever
I
reason.
do actually. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah, I
familiar.
remember hearing that too.
Yeah. So anyway,
Okay. And ma'am, I don't want to get into personal things that happen, okay? Was yesterday, not this morning, but yesterday hard too? Was that a hard day for you to come here and do what you testify yesterday?
No, it was not. No, it was not. Like I stated today. Have you ever heard you woke up on the wrong side of the bed?
That's what happened?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I think the last thing I want to ask you, and then I'll be done, all right?
Yes, sir.
Is this Mr. Adams had you listen to a recording a minute ago about your feet being inside the police car or outside the police car? Let me ask you two or three things about the police car if I can. You with me?
Good Lord. Yes, sir.
When Mr. Adams asked you to demonstrate about where you were sitting and all that, do you know if more than one person can sit in the back of that police car? He asked if it was a bench seat.
Yes.
Okay. Why didn't you just tell him that?
I was being sarcastic.
Oh my God, he coached her.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Sure did.
Yep.
All right, do you agree? Strike that. Let me rephrase. Did you tell Detective Gregory that your feet were inside the car whenever you listened to that recording?
I had to say it because that was my voice.
Okay, but as you sit here today, that's still not the way you remember it.
No, because
Is that what you're saying?
yes.
Judge, object to the form as leading.
I'll
No
rephrase.
doubt.
All right, sustained.
Let me ask this. Did you tell Detective Gregory when he interviewed you that this defendant made you expose yourself and touched you on one occasion? Did you tell Detective Gregory that?
Touch me where?
Your breast.
Yes.
Okay. And did you say the same thing today when you came and yesterday?
Yesterday?
Yes, ma'am. And did you say the same thing whenever you testified at preliminary hearing?
I'd object to the form. It's leading.
All right, you can answer. I'll overrule it. You can answer if you remember.
Do you remember talking about that at the preliminary hearing as well when you testified before?
That was the first time?
Yes, ma'am.
Back in the day?
Several months ago, back in the
Si-
day.
Since we've been here?
Centuries ago.
No, the time before when you came to court.
Repeat the question, please.
Oh my God.
Did you say the same thing the time before when you came to court?
Yes.
And whether your feet were inside the car or whether your feet were outside the car, are the things you told the jury about this police officer doing that were inappropriate still what happened? What the hell is that
What
kind
is
of
that?
sentence? Did I read that right?
Read
You
it
got
Yeah.
that
again.
right. Try
It's
again.
It makes no
Add
sense.
some
It makes no
punctuation
sense.
there.
Yeah,
Whether
it's
your
terrible.
feet were inside the car or whether your feet were outside the car, are the things you told the jury about this police officer doing that were inappropriate still what happened?
yes, sir.
And
I
have you
think there's a
changed
word.
that story at all?
About 1,000,000 times. No, I have not, and I'm not going to change it. It's going to live with me for the rest of my life.
Pass the
Okay.
witness.
Okay, well, 20 minutes ago, your feet were inside the car after you heard the recording.
Jesus.
She was being sarcastic.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
just
I guess.
sarcasm.
right. Oh,
And the
brother.
judge should have beat her ass.
Well, he probably did eye contact her.
Yeah, I'm sure. Stink eye. Yeah. We call that stink eye up here in the north.
Oh, my.
Okay, recross. Miss Barnes, basically, it's difficult for you to tell the truth, is it not?
Objection, Your Honor.
Yes.
Argumentative form of the question. Oops, I skipped to the answer. Sorry.
No.
No. Objection.
Just gonna stay right with the exactly what he was.
Overruled. You can answer.
No.
Well, Mr. Giger just gave an example of what happened this morning. We're all back in that room asking you whether or not you've done any illegal narcotics, correct? This morning.
Can I speak?
My question is very simple. When we were back in the room this morning, the judge and myself and everyone else was wanting to know whether or not you had done any illegal narcotics, correct?
I'm going to state this. When I was getting brought to the back, me and my sister had an altercation.
Judge, I'd ask the witness to be instructed to answer.
Okay, listen to his question about, you might be a little more specific about brought to back. Maybe she didn't follow.
It's pretty clear to me, but okay. When we remember this morning when Mr. Giger was just talking to you a second ago, he was talking about us all being back here in this room with the judge, myself, Mr. Gray, Mr. Giger, and Ms. McConnell. Do you know who these people are, correct?
Uh-huh.
You'd agree with me that they were all in the room this morning when we were talking to you.
Yes.
Okay. And we were asking you about any narcotics you may have possibly been on at that time, correct?
I wasn't.
Listen to
Listen
his
to-
question, ma'am.
Oh, sorry. We were asking you whether or not you would test positive for any illegal narcotics.
Are you through?
Oh,
Yes.
I volunteered and spoke and told them.
Yes, you told us, and again, Miss Barnes, I'm not trying to quibble with you, but you told us, all of us, back in the room, the judge included, that the only things that you the only thing that you did that was illegal, you had smoked some marijuana. But after you leave the room, you know that you're gonna go take a UA. You know you're about to get caught. Now you're telling us that you tell a detective that's not even sitting up here at the table that, yes, you're going to test hot for PCP. That's the first person you're being led over to take the UA that you tell that you smoke PCP, correct?
Can I speak on that?
Just answer the question.
Is that not a fair statement of exactly what transpired?
Well, when you smoke blunts, you lace PCP with it. So I had to think it's going to show up too.
So that is a fair statement of exactly what transpired this morning. You didn't tell anyone about the PCP until you were being led over to the building to take a urinalysis test this morning, correct?
Nope. When I was led over to the building.
Your Honor, I pass to the witness.
All right. Anything further, Mr. Giger?
just one question. Ma'am, when the judge asked if you'd take a drug test, did you say you would take it?
Yes, I did.
That's all.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. You can step down. Show her out, Mr. Giger.
I will, Your Honor.
State calls Rocky
Good
Gregory.
Lord.
yeah. I don't know how we got these other extra pages in, but this goes for Thursdays.
Okay.
We have Rocky Gregory's testimony on Thursday. Oh,
God
God.
Almighty.
That ought to be fun.
Well,
Everybody, I don't know what you take to calm yourselves, if it's a Xanax, a Valium, a shot of whatever, do it.
Can we just
Do it
can we just
before
take all
start.
can we just take all the above and see what happens? Because
See what happens. Shake it up and see what happens. Yeah.
It might make your eyes water and then you won't be able to hear.
Be able to hear what
That's
we're
right.
saying.
that's right.
That was insane.
oh my God, that was just unreal. Unreal.
Horrible.
Really,
Horrible.
really bad.
Horrible.
Well, we're already over 3 hours, but what I wanted to do, and most of you guys have seen the video. I've played it many times. Tabitha Barnes' deposition video, where she claims 5 separate times, he didn't touch me, he didn't touch me, he didn't touch
Right.
me. So you kind of got a little bit of a idea of what kind of attitude she has. And
I'll tell you what stuck out to me in that entire testimony is when she talked about how many other women there were. Get justice, justice. He did this to so many women.
yeah,
I think that's what a lot of them had in mind. That's the reason they came forward to lie and for
Yeah,
money.
justice means money. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, but I mean, and some of the ones that admitted to that that weren't part of the case, right?
What do you mean that weren't part of the case?
Or no, the one that said, "Is that good evidence?"
Oh, Shardarian Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't exactly say it that way, but I don't know. I just think they were all. Um,
Well, most of them had all filed their civil lawsuit by the time they went to trial.
I
Most,
don't
if
mean
not
about the
all.
civil suit. I
Oh,
don't mean about the civil suit. Well, maybe she was talking about the civil suit then.
No, I agree. I think they all felt like the more accusers, the better to string
Yeah.
him up.
yeah, yeah. You're right.
Yeah, and I think they were kind of led that way by Rocky and Blinkwinkle
Oh, for sure,
also. You know,
definitely.
this is going to help us so much. You know, the more we get, the better it is. So thank you so much for,
Well, and Kim Davis said as much.
yeah, she did.
So, all right. I mean, if you're not going to want to stick around to watch this, I understand, but I think it'll be worth your while to watch it so that you can get an idea of what her demeanor was in court during the trial. This is another clip of her during her deposition. It does include the "he didn't touch me" part as well, but I just want you to see her attitude with an attorney that I personally despise, but she was absolutely horrible to him. So I'm gonna play that. If you're not able to stick around and watch it, you can watch it on replay at your convenience. But I think this is worth it. We're
Who's the
going to
attorney,
end.
Rhonda?
Huh? Which
Who's
attorney?
the
The attorney for the city. His name was Richard Smith. I refer to him as Dick Smith
Okay.
because Dick is a nickname for
It's
Richard.
appropriate.
Right? It's appropriate. It's appropriate. So we're going to just end the live with this video. Maybe, I don't know, because I want to see some comments. But at any rate, we'll either end it with the video or not. I'll see how I feel. But if you want, I just want you to see what a beast she was to try to question in trial, probably, and at her deposition. So here we go.
Ms. Barnes, my name is Rick Smith. I'm a lawyer for the city of Oklahoma City, and I also represent Chief City and Detective Rocky Gregory. I understand why you sued the city of Oklahoma City, and we won't spend very much time on that, but we want to talk about Detective Rocky Gregory and Chief Bill City. You met Detective Gregory, correct?
Yes.
What was the first time you met Detective Gregory,
When he came to my home.
and what did he ask you?
Oh, goodness. When he first seen me, I was very defensive because I thought that they was there for I didn't know why they was there. I knew they was the police. But I knew that I had left and went to Arlington, Texas due to me hiding. So I didn't know what he was there for. Told me why he was there, investigating sexual assault. Daniel Holtzclaw, at the time, when he said the name, I didn't know what he was talking about because I never knew his name. I told him if he could tell me why, if he could tell me how he knew what he done or had an idea, then I talked to him and he did. And I opened up, started talking to him.
Okay. Do you remember the date?
No,
Do you remember how close in time to the assaults it was?
no,
If Detective Gregory wrote a report that says it was on 8/14/2014, would you disagree with that?
that's what he said. No, I have no objection.
I'm sorry?
If that's what, I don't remember the date and I don't remember the times.
Okay. But you wouldn't have any reason to disagree with the report he wrote?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay. You testified earlier to Ms. Gooch that everything you said at the trial and the preliminary hearing was true. Is that a correct statement?
Yes,
Okay. I'm going to hand you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit 7. And I have your complete transcript here if y'all would like to look at it in its complete form, but that's just one page. And Ms. Zellner, if y'all have the transcript, if you care to look at this one, is page 1958 of her transcript from the trial.
Yes, we've got it. Thank you.
Okay. You see lines 7 through 11?
yes,
And you were asked, ma'am, whenever Detective Gregory first started contacting you about this, did you trust him? Your answer was no. Is that a true statement?
yes,
And then the question was, do you now? And you said yes. Is that a true statement?
yes.
Can you tell me why you sued Detective Gregory?
Object to the form.
I plead the fifth.
Well, you can't plead the fifth on a civil question like that, ma'am.
Okay, ask me again, sir.
Were you aware you sued Detective Gregory?
Have I been aware that I'm suing him?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I've been aware.
Can you tell me why you sued him?
I don't have all the answers to that right now.
Do you have any answer to that question, ma'am?
No.
Okay. Going to hand you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit 8. Ms. Zellner, this is page 1961 of her trial transcript.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And ask you if you recognize that page. And let me ask you a preliminary question. Have you read the transcript ever? Do you know what a transcript is?
This?
Yes, ma'am. That's one page out of the transcript. Have you ever read the transcript?
Objection to the form. She's previously testified that she has trouble reading.
Have you read it, ma'am?
No.
Has anybody read it to you?
Yes.
Did you say yes?
Yes.
Who read it to you?
My sister.
Okay. Page 1961, 6 through 12. You were asked, okay, ma'am, do you feel like the police department should pay you some money? And your answer is yes. Is that a true statement?
I don't recall saying that.
Would you dispute it if it's in the transcript?
I'm going to say I don't recall saying that.
Okay, and then you were asked why. And starting at line 6, because I was violated and he and Spike was on the clock. Now, Spike is your nickname for Holtzclaw, is it not?
Yes.
And Spike was on the clock for one, and not only me, it's many more out there. He should pay for what he's done. Justice, justice. It's not about the money. I don't even think about money, you know what I'm saying? I could care less. I'd rather see him put away than get a 10-cent round of dime. Do you see that statement?
Do I see this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall making that statement?
No.
Do you agree with that statement?
I have no comments.
Ma'am, I don't know what you mean by you have no comment.
Do I agree with the statement?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Okay, so when the court reporter takes the stand and said, I took this and transcribed it just like she said it, would she be telling the truth?
Are you asking me a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you repeat that question and where are we at on this piece of paper?
Okay, ma'am. I was reading to you from lines 6 through 12. And the question was, when the court reporter comes to the trial and says, I correctly transcribed what she stated, would that be a true statement or not?
I don't remember saying these things.
Okay. Do you remember taking a drug test during the middle of your testimony in the trial of Daniel Holtzclaw?
Yes,
Did you test positive for a prescription drug and PCP and marijuana?
yes.
Can you tell me what prescription drug it was?
Hydrocodone.
And what were you taking the hydrocodone for?
I got hit by a car.
Okay. And what were you taking the PCP for?
Did you hear why she said she was taking the hydrocodone?
Yep.
Because she got hit by a car, but in her trial testimony we just read, she said because she had 17 slip discs or something and scoliosis. So
Yep.
that's just an obvious lie that we have in the depot.
Object to the form.
Why was I taking it?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know. I have no clue. I thought that would take him away and the pain away at the time.
Okay. Well, there's no doubt about it. You admitted at page 1962 that you were going to test positive for PCP, correct?
I don't remember admitting. Is that correct? I'm not going to say yes. I'm not going to say no because I don't remember that.
Okay. Were you aware that Detective Gregory arrested Daniel Holtzclaw?
Yes.
And again, didn't he try to take care of it?
Huh?
Didn't he try and take care of Daniel Holtzclaw?
Object to the form.
Did who try to take care of him?
Detective Gregory, the one you sued.
I don't know if he did try to take care of him.
Okay, well, let's, just for the record then, this is Detective Gregory's report in which it's entitled Arrested Daniel, or Holtzclaw Daniel. If you will look at the last full line of the second paragraph, it was at that time I advised A.R. Holtzclaw he was under arrest. Did you see that statement, ma'am?
On this page here?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Gilbert showing it to you.
Okay, what do you want to know?
Do you have any evidence to dispute the fact that Detective Gregory, the person you filed the lawsuit against, arrested Holtzclaw?
No, I don't have no dispute that he didn't.
That he did or didn't? I couldn't hear her answer.
I don't have no dispute that he did not arrest him. I'm reading it.
Okay, I'm confused with your answer. Do you dispute the fact that
No.
Okay, let me finish. Do you dispute the fact that Detective Gregory arrested Daniel Holtzclaw?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you know what date he arrested Daniel Holtzclaw?
No, sir.
If the report says it was on August 21st, 2014, would you dispute that?
No.
And that would be a week after he contacted you?
I don't know.
Okay. Going to hand you what's Defendant's Exhibit number 11. Ms. Zellner, this is the first information. It's just styled information against your client, Daniel Holtzclaw.
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Ma'am, have you ever seen that document before? And it's the information, as I just told Ms. Zellner, filed against Daniel Holtzclaw.
Yes.
Do you understand that that the court or the DA used your initials instead of names?
Yes.
Do you acknowledge that you are the person that is listed in counts 1, 3, 4, 5?
One, yes. Yes.
And actually number 6. 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yes.
Yes, that's you.
Yes, sir.
Do you know where they got the dates from?
Do I know where they got them from?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Do you know it was because of Detective Gregory's work in finding out when Daniel Holtzclaw reported that he was involved with you to the OCPD?
Yes.
Yes, you do know that's the dates? How he got the dates?
I'm sorry. No, I don't know. I don't know how he got them.
You see that that document was filed on August 29th, 2014,
Yes, I see that.
less than 2 weeks after, or excuse me, 1 day over 2 weeks after he talked to you.
Yes.
What else could Detective Gregory have done?
I don't know.
Then why did you sue him, ma'am? It may be funny for you, ma'am.
No, it's the way you said it to me.
He would like to know why he got sued when he tried to solve a crime that you didn't report, that he had to go reach out to you. In fact, you missed 5 interviews with him, didn't you?
I don't know.
Okay. Are you going to dispute it when he takes the stand and said you missed 5 interviews with him?
No, if he said I did.
Okay. What more do you think he could have done?
His job, I guess.
What do you think his job entailed?
What I think his job entail?
Yes, ma'am.
Evidently, he didn't do something right. He being sued, ain't he?
But you can't tell me why you sued him, ma'am. All you did is you're on a piece of paper in which you sued him.
He didn't do something right.
And how do you know that?
We sitting here, ain't we?
Okay. Well, then let's look at this piece of paper.
She thinks she got one over on him.
Yeah, she does.
Am I on number 12? Thank you. I'm going to hand you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit 12 and ask you if you've ever seen that document, ma'am.
Yes.
Did you see it before or after it was filed?
After.
Okay. Do you see that Rocky Gregory is one of the defendants?
Yes.
Let's look at paragraph 36, please.
Oh. What is it? 36.
It's on page 14, I'm sorry. Have you read it?
What you want me to read it for?
Because I'm going to ask you some questions
Go
about
ahead
it.
with your questions, please.
Have you read it?
Object to
No.
the form, I think she's already answered that she has issues reading.
I
Keep
don't.
asking her to read stuff to try and humiliate her.
Well, that's not my reason, and I appreciate you trying to think that you know my reasons. If you would like to go outside and talk to her about it, I don't have a problem with that.
Is there a question?
Yes. The question is, has she read it? You said she hasn't. I've given you an opportunity to go explain it to her.
Explain what to me?
Is that describing you, ma'am?
It's what describing me, sir?
Paragraph 36A.
I can't read. You read it.
Would you like for me to read the whole thing?
If that's what you feel like you have to do, do.
Okay. Next to the third to the last line says, Holtzclaw then asked Plaintiff Barnes if there was anything under her breast and fondled Plaintiff Barnes's naked breast. Do you see that?
You just read it. Yes, I see it, sir.
Isn't that different than what you testified today?
What do you mean is that different?
Didn't you say Holtzclaw didn't touch you?
He didn't touch me.
So this is a mistake.
He did not touch me.
Okay, and if you go back to Defendant's Exhibit number 11, which is the information, count 1.
Go ahead.
5 lines from the bottom of count 1, directing TB to expose her breast and then touching her bare breast with his hand without her consent. That's also a mistake.
He didn't touch me.
Okay?
And when I testified in court, I said he didn't touch me.
And you understand that Mr. Holtzclaw was convicted of sexual battery on that count as a result of your testimony?
Yes.
So that would have been a lie?
What would have been a lie?
The fact that he was charged with touching you?
I don't know what he was charged with. I know he was charged with 3 counts of me exposing myself.
Okay. Paragraph 70 of Defendant's Exhibit number 12.
What page?
Page 27. The conspiracy involving defendants City, Bennett, Gregory, and John and Jane Doe's meeting, discussing, agreeing, and conspiring to fail, and apparently refusing to conduct a timely investigation of the fact that on or about May 11th, 2014, Plaintiff Morris complained that she'd been illegally detained, arrested, victimized, and sexually assaulted by Holtzclaw. Do you see that, ma'am?
Yes.
Was the assaults on you before or after May 11th, 2014?
I don't know the dates.
Okay, let's go to Defendant's Exhibit number 11.
What page?
The information, page 1. Count 1 says February 27th, 2014. Do you see that?
Uh-huh.
Is that before or after May 11th, 2014?
February the 14th?
February the 27th.
May is before February. So what?
May is before February.
What did you ask me?
Okay, on count 1, Holtzclaw was charged with making you expose yourself and touching your breast on February 27th, 2014.
Okay, February.
Is that before or after May 11th, 2014?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Count 3, March 25th of 2014. Holtzclaw was charged again with burglary of your house. Do you see that?
I remember that.
Was that before or after May 11th, 2014?
I don't know.
Okay. And count 6, stalking. Holtzclaw was charged with stalking you on March 26, 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that before or after?
I don't know.
Ma'am, can you at least let me finish my question?
Go ahead.
Is that before or after
Don't know.
May 11th, 2014? Paragraph 75. Page 28 of Defendant's Exhibit 12. You see that it says that the fifth cause of action, 4th and 14th Amendment failure to supervise as to all defendants. Do you see that statement?
Yes.
Do you know that Detective Gregory is not a supervisor?
Do I know that?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Would it surprise you to learn that he is not a supervisor?
No.
Okay. Paragraph 85. Page 30, Defendant's Exhibit number 12, I'm sorry. 4th and 14th Amendment municipal liability, ratification as to all defendants. How did Detective Gregory ratify Holtzclaw's actions?
Object to the form.
I don't know.
How did Defendant City ratify his actions?
I don't know.
Did you ask your lawyers those questions when someone read this to you?
No.
Okay. Paragraph 91, page 31 of Defendant's Exhibit 12. 7th cause of action, 4th and 14th Amendments, municipal liability, failure to train as to all defendants. Do you see that, ma'am? It's on page 31. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think Detective Gregory is a municipality?
I don't know.
Do you know what a municipality is?
No, I do not.
It's the city. Do you think he's a city? Or do you think he's a person?
He's a person.
Do you think he had any duty to train Daniel Holtzclaw?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. So why don't we, let's go ahead and start. I don't have that many questions. Ms. Barnes, are you still feeling okay?
Yes, I'm feeling okay. I ate some peanuts.
Oh, okay. Do you want to drink some water there?
I'm okay, ma'am. I was just covering up my...
Yeah, go ahead.
mouth.
I don't want you to choke on it.
No, I'm okay.
Okay, was a little lengthy, but I felt like it was important for you guys to see how nasty and
Disrespectful,
disrespectful. Yeah,
arrogant,
she probably
asshole.
Yeah, all of the above.
She has no clue.
No
She has
clue.
no clue about that lawsuit.
Nope.
None of them do actually.
Nope.
None of them have any idea why they're suing anybody other than Daniel. But it's all encompassed.
They should have sued him for coercing her,
Yeah, exactly.
changing her story.
Yeah. So Kelly McAlien, she's over in Foul Plays chat, is asking, are they in a courtroom right now, or is this something else? This was just a clip of her deposition that she gave.
For the civil.
For the civil suit. And that was done in October, I think 18th of 2000. It wasn't October 18th, October 30th of 2018. So this was a couple of years after the trial. I just wanted to show that because she, like I said, as much as I despise Dick Smith, she was really, really crass with him and just bitchy. And then I just left that. What's that?
That's just the way she is.
Yeah, that's just her personality. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just left that little clip of, because Kathleen Zellner actually does question her, not a lot, but she does ask her several questions. But I just left that little part in to show you the difference between how she can be and how she had no idea what Kathleen Zellner was going to ask her. I don't even think she probably didn't even realize it was Daniel's attorney, to be quite honest with you. That's my
Probably
opinion.
not. Probably
Yeah,
not.
I don't think she knew that, but she was just really nice and pleasant with Kathleen Zellner, and she never really. Kathleen didn't ask her a lot of questions, but she never really got sarcastic and bitchy with KZ like she did with Dick Smith. So there's just a contrast, of how she can be if she chooses to, and how she was. So, uh, Kay's gonna love this. Liam says, "Oh fuck, I'm eating garlic bread now. Don't want to. Thanks, just Rhonda." Yeah,
Hey, listen, my eyes were watering. I didn't hear a fucking thing. Can you replay that?
exactly.
I like
Horrible.
Liam's statement. I want to sue the people who prosecuted the man which I falsely accused. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and TJ also had an interesting one as well. I think just before that, he says, and I mean it's just legitimate. I'm going to go pee off the porch, then charge the neighbors watching with counts of me exposing myself. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
it makes sense, right? It's
yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah.
It's a perfect
So
analogy.
yeah, I mean that's just both of those comments are legitimate, and
And he got how many years in prison for this woman?
uh,
I can't remember.
Makes me so sick.
it was more than 20. I just don't remember.
Oh,
I
Jesus
don't remember
Christ.
I was
exactly
why,
what it was.
why am I thinking 32 years? I don't know why.
I mean, it could be. It could be. Because the two that so when he went before the parole board last year, the two counts that they were hearing for parole had to do with with her exposing her breasts, and that was going to be a total of 8 years each. So
Oh, Jesus
16 years,
Christ.
or
Wow.
8 years. But anyway, but I mean, even with that clip of showing he didn't touch me, he didn't touch me, he didn't touch me, despite what the transcript, what she said in testimony numerous times. And then at the end of that, she says, and I testified in court that he didn't touch me or whatever she
Yeah,
said.
bullshit.
And that's why I showed that transcript from the trial that we've just read today and last Thursday, because she absolutely did. No, not for each breast, James. Because she, well, maybe, who knows? I don't know. Jesus, it's hard to keep up with them. But anyway, yeah. So at any rate, he did get charged or found guilty on some of her charges and not guilty on others. How there was ever any guilty on any of them is beyond me. So and the pardon and parole board didn't even consider the deposition testimony where she said he didn't touch her. They were ready with their no before they even walked into the hearing that day.
Yeah.
So
And it doesn't mean like he would get out, for
nope.
fuck's sake. It's just on those charges.
Yep, it was just going to
Specific.
take 8 years or whatever it was off of his sentence was all it was going to do. But
Like that's
It'll
going to
only
matter
be,
with 300 plus fucking years.
it'll
260
only be
years.
250, whatever. Yeah.
So
he was sentenced to 18 years for counts
Tabitha
1,
Barnes.
4. Let's see, guilty count on counts 1, 4, and 5. Sexual. One is sexual battery. there's an indecent and then 2 indecent exposure.
So the sexual battery was when he touched
Yeah.
her breasts,
You're right.
and you know, it I don't know, it's mind blowing. It's just mind blowing. But I mean, these are just really small reasons in one accuser's testimonies, various testimonies and reports of why Daniel is innocent, and it's not just this particular thing that we've read today. It's across the board with all of the accusers. There's stuff in their testimonies and reports and everything else that are prove that they lied. And I mean, there's other testimony that we'll hear eventually that's even worse than this. So, but anyway, we're gonna listen to Rocky Gregory. We're gonna read Rocky Gregory's Thursday, I guess, in just a few days. And then there's also testimony by Ivan Venegas, the officer who went to that first incident with Daniel, and then Terry Williams. I don't know if we'll read theirs. It's not really anything earth shattering, but Rocky Gregory's is definitely something you'll want to hear. So,
Do I need, get another bottle of Xanax and Ambien and, maybe one of the larger bottles of Crown? Okay. Just trying to plan for the future. Asking for a friend.
Just planning ahead.
Just get you a blunt with some PCP
with
on
some
it.
laced with PCP. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, let's just try to keep it legal here, guys. Come on.
Yeah,
Come on now.
Depending on where you live, gummies are fine, or but anyway.
In the great state.
I imagine he lies throughout.
He lies, but not only that, he's so illiterate and he does not speak. As twisted and weird sounding as the two attorneys, Giger and Scott Adams, ask their questions, the way Rocky answers them is even worse, if you can imagine that. He's horrible. So I'm really I really hope, yep, exactly, James. Whatever you used for the Brendan Dashley session, that one was that was rough. But yeah, I think we'll just end with Rocky's. I don't think we'll read Terry Williams and Ivan Venegas. There's really not much that I can see anyway to add. And if they're lying or whatever, that isn't really. I don't think anything they testify to changes anything, obviously.
So, what did Tabitha Barnes' mother testify to? Did she back up her daughter on that call?
Yeah, were you not here with the night because we've read her testimony?
I don't remember.
It's been a couple of weeks ago.
I probably was.
Yeah. Well, anyway, she didn't really testify for very long, and she loosely covered up or backed up Tabitha's story. So
she lied for her daughter.
Well, basically, she said she couldn't remember a lot.
Yeah, she couldn't.
So, which she probably really couldn't remember.
Right.
Because that was the incident where there is no proof at all that he had any encounter with her, right?
That's the one where there's AVL that shows no stopping. That's the same one.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, in the sense that she talked to Daniel on the phone, that is a lie because there's no way she did.
Right.
So it was I don't know if I can find it really quick or not. I'll have to look and see.
That's okay.
How close it is. I don't have the police report real handy with that AVL map, but it's just Yeah, she did lie in the sense that she said she did talk to the officer and asked him the questions or whatever, and they were exactly the same. I mean, the way she answered the question was exactly the same way that they told her to answer it. So,
Well,
but yeah,
unless it was a different cop, you know.
and that could be, there could have been, and because that's the same incident where Tabitha Barnes said that the cop drove a black and white car. So maybe this is a real event, and maybe it's the same cop that possibly sexually assaulted Terry Morris, because Terry Morris testified from the very beginning to her deposition that the officer that had assaulted her was in a black and white patrol car. So,
Uh-huh.
oh, Jamie Hart's over in foul play. Hey, Jamie.
Hey, license plate. What the hell, man?
Hey, Jamie.
Good to see you.
So, anyway, yeah, we'll wrap it up with Rocky's testimony. It'll take a while. It's 152 pages long. So, and then we'll get back into Kay's timeline that she's been, because now by the time we get done, we'll, we've moved on to a different day now. I think we'll be in August 18th. So, I think we're mostly doing okay. It's hard to say. We're just getting ready to wrap up, though, Jamie. I'm actually doing a live right now, Jamie, on my channel, on my YouTube channel, and Jack is streaming it to the Foul Play YouTube channel at the same time. So it's kind of cool. That's what we're doing. But we're just getting ready to wrap up.
It's a neat option.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's really awesome.
Do you mind if I do a little plug here? It's actually this is something a little unusual.
Okay.
Well, and she would never say it, but I'm gonna say it now. And a huge thank you to Cherie. She sent me a book, and it's titled. Hold on here. It's titled "Criminal Procedure, Investigation, and Right to Counsel." It's by Allen, Hoffman, Livingston, and Stuntz. This book is probably 1.25 inches thick, I'm guessing. It's got all kinds of things in it. It talks about the criminal side of our justice system. I'm guessing criminal procedure, investigation, and right to counsel. There's a preface in here, and I'm certainly not going to read all of it, but I'd like to read just a little excerpt, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
And he's talking about the different chapters in the book. And this one chapter says, subject matter of this book is especially true of Chapter 5, the Fourth Amendment, which has been almost completely revised and now includes entirely new discussions on both the meaning of both quote-unquote search and quote-unquote seizure, exigent circumstances, searches incident to an arrest, the relationship between police discretion, racial profiling, and quote-unquote special needs, among other topics. Much of the same can be also said for Chapter 6, the Fifth Amendment, and as mentioned, Chapter 7, investigating complex crimes. This looks like it's going to be a doozy to read. Hopefully I'm sure I'll understand a lot of it. There's citations out the wazoo. Oh my God, it's really detailed. I can't thank you enough, Cherie. I really can't.
Well, you're welcome. You were really, wanting to hear from Travis and Tracy about searches, and that's I had that in my second year of law school in my criminal procedure class, and I was going to copy the section on searches or try to find the right section, but it's like 450 pages. So yeah. I found the used copy online that was, very inexpensive. So I thought it'd be a lot cheaper to just send you that. So.
Yeah, the entire book is, well, that's the index. I got a package there, and I'm like, what the hell? I didn't order anything. I had no idea. My son brought it in. This book is close to 1,000 pages, looks like. Actually, with the citations, it's 1,050 pages.
Yeah.
Really cool. I mean, it looks like it's just absolutely crammed with legal things that we talk about a lot. So again, I wanted to give a big thanks to Cherie for doing this for me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Cherie.
Yep.
She's very thoughtful that way. I can attest to that as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Me too.
We've been, huh?
Me too.
Yeah.
Yep. You
Yeah.
too, Kay.
Yep.
Oh, I meant I attest to it too. Not that, well, that's what I meant.
You're very thoughtful too, and I know you're thanking Kay as well.
That is not what I meant.
I know, but I get it.
It's really hard to take you serious anyway with that horn sticking out of the side of your head.
Hey, man, I like the horn.
I'm just kidding. It's really cute. I mean, I think it's pretty awesome on it, honestly.
Can I call you Spike?
If you want to.
Sorry.
Ooh.
I'll be quiet.
Nah. Well, I want to thank Jack and Cherie and Kay and Susan for doing all that reading. We all know how difficult it is to read something that lengthy. But when you're reading such shocking information, it's not quite as bad.
Yeah,
I don't feel
like. Yeah. I mean, when you're reading like normal testimony, it can be a grind, but God, this was horrible. It was absolutely awful.
Yeah.
And Judge Henderson allowed it to continue.
Yeah, he did. He did. And there just was not nearly enough objections from defense counsel.
No, there wasn't. No. I agree.
The fact that it didn't discredit her in the jury's eyes just blows my mind.
Yeah. And I agree with you, Susan, but like Kay also said, by the time because her testimony was within the first, I want to say the first week of trial. So, and that was a 3-week or close to 4-week trial. And so by the time the jury did get back there, even if they did take notes, and I'm going to do some checking up on all that, if they took notes and if they did, were they allowed to take them back to the jury deliberation room? Because in some courts, they're not allowed to, which is mind blowing to me, but whatever.
Why would you take them?
Then why take the notes? Exactly. But they just had to be completely like, I can't even imagine what that jury was going through, honestly.
I can't either.
So that would be an amazing thing if I could get a jury on this channel as a guest to speak to what they remember. But anyway, that's a pipe dream that would never.
Have any of his jurors ever been interviewed?
Two of them have been on the news. Ron Hill and Daniel Speaks.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said about the DNA is really what got him.
Yep.
Rhonda, did you see what I sent you in Discord?
Yes, I did.
What do you think about that?
I think we can try it again.
Oh yeah, I assure you it will go better this time. Promise you that.
Yeah. Well, and I'm feeling a lot more confident now too. So, yeah.
Well, you guys can mull it over and talk about it. Maybe decide on what you might want to present. I just want more attention. I'm just trying to think of ways to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. No, we'll. I'll get with the girls and we'll talk about it. I guarantee you, it is not going to be in the month of July.
That's fine.
There's just no way. So
no. This is just whenever. It's just an open invitation.
Yeah, for sure. I'll talk to them. I'm sure they'll be fine with it. Yes, you're right, Liam. Lies about the DNA convinced them. And there was some jury intimidation by the chanting and the protesters.
I think that played a huge part as well. Huge part.
Because by this time, remember, Ferguson's already happened. So, BLM has begun, and, it just, so yeah, it's pretty rough trial. So, okay, normally I just let everybody kind of say some last comments or and if anybody has something they would like to say, please, speak now or I'm going to cut you off, but I don't know if
I'm
anybody
done.
has. You're done.
4 hours.
You've
That's
said
good.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that I'm pretty much talked out, and I'm just going to have to start working on Rocky Gregory's and getting that one ready for you guys for Thursday. So that'll be our next. We're going to hold our regular Thursday night at 5 p.m. Central live, and we'll be going through Rocky Gregory's trial testimony regarding Tabitha Barnes. So I'm going to kind of leave it at that. And until next time, peace out.